I mean, I
are.
don't at least.
That's what I'm saying. You're more likely to compared to Taco Bell. Now, Taco Bell is so clean. It's insane.
Taco Bell.
Taco Bell.
Taco.
That's why usually I like it because it's
Remember
so
in the
cheap.
movie,
I'm the Taco Bell.
that Arnold, no, Sylvester Stallone movie, not Universal Soldier, Demolition Man, where it's
Yeah.
like
Oh,
Taco
yeah.
Bell was like the cream of the crop, like fancy dining
Yeah.
in the future, because everything else just went under or got
Yeah.
destroyed. And now the
That's still
restaurant was
Wesley
like-
Snipes' best movie.
Oh yeah,
Best
oh
movie
besides
ever.
Blade,
I
Blade was
mean,
his best movie.
okay, Blade as a good guy, that as a
As a-
bad guy.
Yeah, it's a good yeah. So
Oh, he's
it was-
well,
Like, the
okay.
Demolition Man was. That still feels modern, like, really.
oh,
Yeah.
it foretold a few things.
Still holds up fairly well.
Still holds up. Still holds up that in the future that they guessed that a lot of people were going to be pansies and
Yep.
not be like, oh, me, just certain things where they're just very trying to be culturally sensitive about everything. It's like, yes, you can be, but at the same time, you have
That's
to have a
99%
modicum
of the
of
world right now.
oh, you have
Yeah.
to have a balance of realism to your argument. It's like,
What? Realism? Like, what?
well, no. I'm just saying in the fact of like
Well,
that it is relevant to today, where people
Yeah.
are trying to be culturally sensitive and sensitive to certain things, but it's at the same time you can go overboard with something
Yeah.
and
Oh, yeah.
be a little bit too unrealistic in your like cultural
Pursuit of-
demands.
Take it too far one way or the
Yeah.
other. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't mean cultural like as in not just like
Nah.
people's background cultures, but I mean like in culture itself.
it's more
as
of the current
that-
culture. Like,
the current culture, as in
Mm.
it's kind of like how everyone puts like he, him, and she, her in all
Oh,
of their
fuck.
like
I hate it.
profiles. Like that's understandable. It's you want to be called a certain thing, but
yeah, but everyone's
same
doing it though.
time-
Like, fuck.
at the same
Yeah.
at the same time it comes down like a lot of people pointing out the facts that rather than it comes down to mental health where the person
Oh,
that
yeah.
is making these claims, are they in a mental stable situation? Can they actually
Which
yeah
most
exactly.
likely no, because a lot of people aren't mentally fucking stable right now.
Well,
Like,
that's if
it's
you
fucking
have
hard to be,
I mean,
really.
the
like,
biggest red flag that's a sign of like someone's mental stability is usually when you give them a response, a question to their answer, or an answer to their question, and their only response is to either scream or yell. It's like that's
Yeah.
clearly
Well,
clearly something wrong,
essentially if you have to do like a few
It's just-
mental gymnastics to, in other words, to cohere to their mental stability, whether it's
Jump to
these
the hoops.
days. Well, yeah, you can ask a few random questions to see where their mental state is
Yeah.
at,
But
and
if
whether
they
or
answer
not.
honestly is another question.
Well, yeah, it's whether people have to, abide by their mental standing. It's like saying,
Yeah.
well, it's like them thinking they're in a one world where you have to abide by their demands, but aren't they're not based in reality. It's when you're
No.
when you should really just be asking whether their mental state is based in reality, and if it's
That's
not,
it.
it's instantly, just.
And that's why
it's
expectations shouldn't fucking exist.
ah, that's up for
No, I
debate.
mean-
With expectations,
There's-
limitations.
yeah,
I
limitations.
mean, of certain things, not everything. Like,
Yeah. It comes. A lot of people blamed it on. When people were growing up, they said, "Oh, you can do anything and everything," and
Yeah.
it's kind of like, well, there's. Yes,
Everything you can.
I'll say
yes,
with
you
that,
can.
and with that too. I'll say what works with that. What made kind of a balance to that point was you'd set a dream goal, but in life you had things that would kind of check reality.
it'd be getting
Like,
in your way.
Things
you'd
are not
try
good.
and-
But then nowadays, to counteract that, you go, oh, anything's a goal, anything can be achievable. And then you have competitions and everyone wins a prize. Like, then that's not knowing your limits or to beat those limits.
No.
The sky is
yeah,
the limit.
yeah.
Okay, the sky is the limit. But now you're
Like,
making
pretty much
a
achieve it, you
reward at
have
every
to
point.
stick to
So
one
where do you,
path.
you know, where do you sit?
Are
Exactly.
you saying basically anything can be achieved as long as those achievements are based in reality?
Basically,
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah, well, which is true. It's people need to realize that reality of things that can be achieved. Like, understand you can break those barriers,
Yeah.
but those
Oh, yeah.
barriers are like, you know, they're for some people. Yes, they're figmentations. Those barriers,
Yes.
which I understand. Like, there's some certain barriers. You know, when America used to have Jim Crow laws, all that kind of stuff. Yeah,
Yeah.
they were social barriers that needed to be broken down. So, another for society to achieve more, because there's no points of putting those certain limitations on people, especially when they're just other human beings.
Yep.
Based on and you're just basing these stupid limitations not in reality, but purely just on you know, pigmentations, like purely based on the color of their skin, stuff like that. You know, it's still that. But when certain other things come down to reality on the basis of it, where in the past, yes, those cultural barriers have been broken, but when it comes down to facts and science,
Yeah.
those barriers, like, you could try
It's
and break them, but when the
a grey area,
reality
like
and
it.
yeah, and facts come down to it, where those facts are based in, you know, careful study and analysis, it's hard to kind of say, well, it doesn't, and it's like,
Yeah.
you know, it's very hard.
It's one of those things.
Yeah, and the people that often try and break those figures, they
But
have
there's
not
definitely
done.
not just black and white. There's a lot of grey. There's a lot
Oh
of.
yeah, there's a lot of grey in
It's just
everything. But when they try and break certain things and say it's this, where in fact and reality it doesn't, they need to realize that they need to do some due diligence in order to make those claims,
Yeah.
because you can't just say the sky is red, where
No.
it's like, yes, it can be, but only under these, you know,
Circumstance. Yeah.
certain
circumstances.
conditions and
There's certain conditions you
so
can't
on,
just
so on.
blatantly
So
say it's you're not just gaslighting yourself, you're trying to gaslight others
Yeah.
by making broader
that,
claims.
that's like saying us the sky's blue. No, it's not.
Well,
It's only blue because of the ocean.
well, yeah, that, and also the way our eyes work and all that kind of stuff, and
Yeah.
and
Or
those
refraction of
things
light
are based in,
because of the
yeah,
black and then
the light,
space.
and because they're based in science.
Yeah, but it's the freaking ocean that makes it blue because the water, like
yeah, but it's also in the
the
last
sky's
20
not
or
blue.
30
Like, goddamn.
years
Well,
where
that's the same thing with
certain
water.
things we
Water
consider as
technically isn't blue
facts
as well. Like
have been broken.
it's all a fraction of reflection of light on each other. Because
Yeah,
sky's not blue,
Yeah,
water's
because
not
the
blue.
deeper you go, it goes black.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think the point I'm trying to make is, if you're going to go out and make certain claims, you better damn have
The things to back it up. Yeah.
the thing to back it
Yeah.
up. You got to do some due diligence, and but that can go into the what's the what they say, where a lot of people will say, no, the facts that you have are pure, you know, fake news.
Yeah.
And
that sounds like fucking Twitter.
Fake news.
yeah, fake news, you know, blah blah.
Twitter
You're
is what
getting
they
it
call
from
it.
this political side, not this political side, and but it still comes down to, you need to do your due diligence, and you have to come also from a basis in reality,
Yeah.
rather than just a fantasy land where you're getting ideas from other people that have mental issues, that aren't their facts. Their
Which is hard because
facts
you don't know
aren't based
someone's fucking
on
got them. Like,
reality or
Exactly. You don't know a person's situation.
yeah,
no.
exactly. But I
Like,
can
it's
easily just make a false claim,
Yeah.
gaslight everyone else, and make them think that it is, but I know damn well that it's not an actual fact.
I don't
Yeah.
even,
But
I don't even know where this
that's the
conversation
internet in
was
general,
going.
actually.
Oh, yeah, it's
But I gotta tell you, what an intro to the episode. I don't know where this was going, but anyway, let's just get on
going to
into it.
philosophical questioning and down that rabbit
Oh,
hole.
as you already know, let's just get on to it. What's up, Beardies and Beardettes? Welcome back to another fine episode of the Beardy Bros podcast. Bloody, what is this episode?
Woo!
Episode 200?
Fuck.
Did we
200.
200? Episode, was it 7? Season 5, episode 7?
7. Yep.
Episode 200?
Yeah, 200. They're like, that just.
Yeah, it's gone by. And for those that have realised, you can see right down below us here, once again, back on the show,
Almost 4 years.
we've got Wookie back with us. So those that have not met Wookie before, this is Wookie. We're going to go through a little
I'm
something
in a
different here.
new location, and I've been out of the loop for quite a while
So
because of
if anyone's
It has been
circumstances.
if anyone's
long one,
seen the
actually,
previous episode, if you go back, you can see him in the thumbnails. You'll see that he was in
hasn't
a undisclosed location, and he was transported, and he had to be moved, and he's moved again now in a different undisclosed location.
I still in a new undisclosed location. Let's say it is geographically closer. I'm
Yeah.
still not going to say where, or anything else like that.
Are you still having
But
the people coming into your into your house, and so just you now, huh?
no, well, kind of like just me. It's
Just you now.
I've got let's say I've got other people in the proximity of
Yep.
me. It's some are known ghosts of some sort. When you
Yep.
always like, I'll put it this way: I've moved location. I now have other housemates,
Yep.
and you always have that one housemate that is like the ghost that you
Yep.
just never see them. You
Oh,
know
yeah.
they're still alive because occasionally you hear them leave their room and go to like the kitchen and grab
Yep.
something and then go back. They're the ghost, and you never see them. They're like the perfect housemate because they just stick to their room. That's
Yep.
it. And that's pretty much it. I don't know if they're. I don't.
It's
I
not
think
like a
I've only
mouse.
ever seen them once. They were like a silhouette in the dark, and this was probably about like 2 a.m. in the morning when I
Yep.
was just
Getting up.
just quickly getting up, like getting
That's
some.
when you don't want to see someone.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, just see them
Uh,
like ships in passing. They're like the perfect housemates. So it's. But besides that, I can't disclose my location. Obviously, you
Yep.
can tell from the background. It's it's
Very high
no
tech.
point. Yeah, yeah. Well, last thing I want to do is get swatted. Remember, right?
Got some bug
Or
hunting.
oh, yeah.
yeah, because bug hunting. Yes, exactly. I could change my background, but it's not that exciting, and not as exciting as your backgrounds with figurines and such. I think all I can take note is I probably have a signed comic book from Stan Lee somewhere in the background, and
What you can do is make that massive on your whole background. Like,
yeah, I
Just
could
have
do
a
that.
photo of it
It's
as your background.
yeah, yeah.
Well,
But besides
yeah.
that, yeah. I'll let you continue on. I'll do my intro afterwards.
So we got Wookie back. We're gonna do some new this episode as well that I want to trial out with, which I want to start rolling out some questions for guests. So we will be trying them out on Wookie.
yeah.
So we'll figure out when they'll pop up through the episode. Keep an ear out for that. Get to know Wookie as well as like a refresher. Also, I want to let people know. I don't know if Jim took notice of my few tweets that have been very coded tweets because I haven't really posted on Facebook. And I tweeted once because I've been slightly going through a little bit of I've kind of been in a little bit of a slump at the moment because I'm like overwhelmed. I'm in a weird situation where I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm in a weird headspace, but I'm going to be moving soon. So I've got a couple of weeks. So basically next month I got to be out of here. So I got to start packing
that's
everything
fucking
up.
quick.
So yeah, end of March I got to be out of here in a new place. So
end of March?
yeah, just the week before the end of March.
Fuck.
So yeah,
I thought like start of March, like whoo.
No, well, we're gonna maybe possibly be moving out maybe the start of March if we get another
It is
place.
best to go before.
But
if you
yeah,
get a place, yeah.
You'll see behind me everything will start packing up, which is crazy that I've been going through all this. Just organizing.
You've only just set the fucker up.
And yeah, that's what I'm saying. I finally started getting comfortable with everything in the house.
Like, bruh.
And having plans to where I want to put new things again. And now I got to pack everything up and get out of the place. So you'll slowly see through the episode that stuff will start disappearing. Everything's going to start being packed up. Things will be empty and bare. So
it'll just be you and your PC eventually. Like
basically, yeah, like it's so much stuff I've got to move and start. I'm started packing it. I've got some plastic tubs to put my figures in and stuff like that. But like, I just too overwhelmed at the moment to have to start. Luckily, a lot of things are in the cube shelves or they're just like already kind of in the tubs.
You can just move the whole shelf.
Yeah, it's pretty basic. So that's going to be happening. So fingers crossed, hopefully finding somewhere better. And if I do, I can get a better upgrade for my space for everything to be in. Hopefully my own room, like office to actually sit up in, which would be nice. Give me more space. And then I'll be able to even expand the shelves, maybe have actually 4 across. who knows, more rooms for games and whatnot. So keep an eye on that, everyone. But yeah, so that's a big change for me. So I'm like, fuck. So yeah, we didn't realize.
The moving dread, like it's
basically
fucking horrible.
Yeah, so basically what ended up happening was we assumed our lease was another yearly lease, but apparently ended up being a 6-month lease we re-signed.
Yeah,
So the
that sucks.
owners were already, because we kept playing, a year, that's fine. But I think the owners, or whatever happened, they decided that they wanted to just go 6 months this time. So they were planning something, I don't know what, and then they've just not
They're probably
bothered
gonna
to.
sell it.
Yeah, well, they haven't bothered to renew, so they've just said, no, we're not going to renew the lease. So it's like,
Do they want to
Cool.
move in so they can start using the drone service themselves? Is this
oh,
because
I mean, I wish, I would hate if we moved and then the drone service came back. Hopefully to try and stay in the area.
I don't
really.
reckon it will.
But no, unless I move somewhere closer to the
Wait,
other
is that
spot where the
stopped
drones
now?
been. Yeah, it stopped here in my area for a little bit. I haven't been able to because
alright.
I'll make.
It's
So, yeah, so I don't know. It's just one of those things. So that's kind of like come to the point where I had a feeling that I was thinking like maybe I should move at some point. I don't know. I didn't want to. Feeling, there's so many different thoughts, and now universe has kind of played its hand, being like, nope, this is what's happening. You're moving. And I was like, fun.
I'd bit you up.
Yeah, it's like, so now it's just the rigmarole of trying to find a place again, which is just like the pain of like finding and then trying to apply and then hopefully getting them and then moving in.
Like Australia needs more houses, to be fair.
It's not cheap either, so everything, because I figured
No,
if
it
I was going
also
to be here,
needs
it's going to
more.
go up, but like
we've
where
got
we're
way
moving,
more
it's gonna be up.
people than there are houses. That's always
Yeah,
that's the problem, and it's
But
kind of
yeah,
like
we got a fuck ton of land for it. Like
that's it.
well, yes, but think of it this way: where even if you extend out from like any city, you extend out the houses outwards, people just have to travel further in order to get to their jobs because
Yeah.
most
that's not
centralized
too much
jobs are
further.
always from the city center outwards,
Yeah.
depending on their job. Like sure, build more industrial areas, all that kind of stuff. But build them closer to the new residential houses.
Yeah, well, I think a
built.
lot of them be work from home eventually because a lot
Yeah.
of things are doing that. Like,
That's it.
Well, some people have to resort to working home because travel costs more than anything. So
yeah, but also they don't have to. If they're in an office anyway, do it from home. Like, fuck.
That's it.
yeah, some things to certain on. Okay, so some things may factor depending on infrastructure. So if the internet is better as your workplace because it's a business workplace. Some companies after COVID, of course, they pay for all these office spaces for high speed internet, all that kind of stuff. A lot of them moved out, and then some of them didn't move back in because obviously that money used for the
Save
workspace
costs, yeah.
and for the internet and the costs, and then every other overhead for that, they could have just given that to their staff, which makes sense. That's what they should be doing. But especially
They
with
never
the
think about
overhead,
the damn
with
stuff.
the cost. But it's a lot of places do a lot. They need to have a central hub because they have, something like secure servers on site. They need to maintain, so they obviously need space for that. Some things are better done, face to face rather than on call. Like working remote does have its limitations, but essentially they still want to maintain a on-site premise and a space because if certain things have to be delivered to an office like such as office hardware and all that kind of stuff, and if they're selling a product, obviously they need somewhere to store it.
That's it.
There's a lot of complicated things that can go into it. It's not that I'm justifying the fact that people should go to offices. I'm just saying that
It's the worst environment
Yeah,
ever. Like, people hate doing them
I'm
jobs.
just saying
Yeah.
both have their merits and both have
The
their
pros and cons, yeah, exactly.
cons.
Everything has their pros and
And
cons.
if businesses can find a healthy balance between the two rather than forcing people to come into the office all the time.
Yeah.
I understand some places are doing like, yes, this job can do remote because they send them the hardware
Yeah.
that they need for their job, and they can
Because
do it all
recently, a lot
online.
of game devs are from home now. Like, a lot of whole teams are working at home. Like,
That's
Oh
it.
yeah, because a lot of that software and hardware is easily
like
portable now, which is fantastic.
and they get a
That's-
better. They can work longer at home than they can at the actual office
Yeah.
too, which they like
yeah,
to do.
yeah,
Like,
yeah. And there's programs which basically you know, you can clock on and say, all right, you started
Mhm.
working this at this time, such as programs like Autotask, for example, which track, you know, your work times, but when you start something and finish something, and you can just easily do that to keep everything in track. There's other programs as well that do it, and that's a great way for businesses to make sure people are working that time,
Yep.
and taking advantage of the
But also,
situation.
the work
But
does
at the
tell
end of
with
the
game
day,
development, though.
yeah. Well, exactly. It's something like game development where the work shows for itself.
Oh, yeah.
If you know, a lot of people can probably get things more productively done at home, eliminating travel time,
Distractions,
other expenses like, you
But
know,
then when you hate there, who you got to deal with, there's like,
yeah. Well,
cuts out a
yeah,
lot of factors.
yeah. Or if you're working in the office,
Well,
then you're
everyone's
like,
got someone
if you
they hate
don't bring
in an
in your
office,
lunch
like.
in. Well, yeah, if you have to make prep meals, bring in your lunch in every day, and if you don't bring in your lunch, then you go down to the road to get lunch, and then even then that can be hella expensive. Like
Oh,
some,
yeah.
you know, cafes, like in work areas, they charge
Mm.
like just
They
for a salad and
strategically
a
put them
coffee,
there
it's
just
like
for
20
that. Like,
bucks.
I'd
Yeah,
imagine
yeah, yeah.
you'd strategize your own overtime if there's that as well. So during overtime,
yeah.
you
Well,
can
at home,
control
you
your
can
own
work
nap
pretty much
breaks.
way longer, like,
You can actually have a nap
because
break basically at
you're
home
there.
too
Yeah, it comes down
to
to people just
refresh.
being responsible adults when
Yeah.
doing work and such,
Yeah.
and businesses have to kind of take what's the best word? Have faith in their employees that they're doing the right thing in the allocated time. But even then, it's like the way that some people work. You know, like once some people are, you know, nighttime, better at working at nighttime, their sleep allocated
Mhm.
times. As long as they do the work, it's, you know,
Exactly. They
it's
don't
you
they
know,
don't
Yep.
care as long as you
As
get
long
the
as it's
work done.
on the date or time they
yeah.
wanted it,
It,
like,
That's the
who
only
cares?
reason like an office space work was so that it was basically supervised. So people
Mm.
came in, there was no distractions. You came to work, you worked in location, so you knew the work was being done because you didn't
Kind
have
of like
things to track things
it's
back
kind of
then.
like school. You're just being monitored,
Yeah.
like the time you're there.
yeah.
Like,
Well, some things don't require you working those set times from 9 to 5.
Mm.
Like in other aspects, yes, it does, because that's what business hours are from 9 to 5. If you work in retail or something like that, where you know that's when the shop is open. You know, obviously you're working when the
Exactly.
shop is open. There's no point working out of that. But if you work in some office places where if it's like dev work, for example, there is no set time. Really, it's
They
as
just
long as the
make it
work
up.
gets done. That you can just make it up. You could sleep all day and work during the night and then submit the work, and then it can be, you know,
As long as
looked
it's
over
getting
by
done,
someone
that's
else.
it.
Exactly, and it all depends on the
A
circumstances.
lot of those, yeah, and
Uh,
that's the thing with a lot of those office jobs now is that
I-
situation.
yeah. Well, and also going on
yep.
that fact was I found out the high school that I went to when I was growing up.
Yep.
I'll name drop Marsden High School.
Yep.
You know, big high school now because of the name, because like Cameron Smith went there, big football player, and a few
Yeah.
others. And ever since I left, it went, you know, all fancy.
Yeah.
Built new buildings and getting other
It's
stuff.
always the fucking way, though.
Oh, it's always the way. It's
The
always the
budget, the
way.
spending.
Yeah, the budget went way up, way up. But with that, they just announced. I just found out they announced they're planning on doing like a 4-day week
Yes, a lot of schools are
at
looking to
school.
That's
try to do
actually a
that.
good
So a
thing,
lot of
really.
schools are looking at the 4-day
Because that's
week,
the way
which
the work
changes.
week's going as well. They want to change to be a 4-day work week as well.
Well,
Mm.
the thing is, a lot of people in work in offices, sometimes they already work 12 hours a day.
Yeah.
They work more than a normal
Yeah.
5-day week. So if businesses are changing that way, then that means wouldn't the hours increase
They're on
during
that
that four
tradie
time?
hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what
Which
they
is
wanted to do. They wanted schooling to be 4 days, but longer. I think that's what they're
Mm.
trying to
well,
go.
yeah,
Which kind of pointless because longer
yeah.
days. Why?
Well,
For
it's
kids anyway.
essentially
Like,
Well, they
they
can
were
make up those extra
starting.
time. Yeah.
Yeah, they were starting, instead of like starting at 9, they would start 2 hours earlier, so
7. Yeah.
Jesus.
7. And essentially, by taking that extra 2 hours each day of those, it would make up for the
Yeah.
Friday, and
Because
you
school's
know,
only what 6 hours a day. 6 hours,
yeah,
6 hour
roughly.
day.
yeah, 6 hours.
Mm.
Which, you know, it's people used to working 10 or plus hours these days, which is normally in a 5-day week. I
Yeah.
don't know how it's going to go. That's where the reality shock in, since some
Kids
people
won't
were
focus
from. Well,
long enough.
yeah, yeah, it's a catch 22 in that, where
Mm.
depending on how it's structured, keeping the focus, especially when like the last 5 years or so was like TikTok and shorts and all on YouTube Shorts, where the attention span is getting smaller and
It's
smaller.
10 fucking seconds. Bam, bam, bam,
Yeah,
bam,
yeah,
bam.
and
That's
that's
it.
the problem where because
I can't do that.
That's what they're.
the
I think that's what they're trying
hell?
to do. That's what they're trying to with the structure is to make that extra day so they can recover, but then also put more work in to rebuild the minds back to that concentration, because they need to
But they
force
should
that
make it
work
a
back in.
Wednesday off because
yeah,
you got your
but
2 and 2.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying. It's
I think
kind
they
of
were working
hard
it out. Yeah,
because you're fighting an uphill battle when, especially when the attention span is getting shorter and shorter, but you're giving them a longer day where, you know, I know for a fact when you sit down and learn something and do a course, sometimes that you're only really learning, remembering about 20%
yeah.
of
Or
what
even
you
less.
just
Like
learned. Well, yeah, depending on how you're going that
I
day.
remember fuck all for my school days. Like you don't even need it really.
Well, it's like that with anything. It's even like that with like say with
Not my daily
conversations.
life. Like god
Because like
dang.
we have that with like with the podcast. Like we'll do the podcast after the
Yeah.
podcast. We're like, what do we? So what are the key points? It's like, oh fuck, like don't even remember what we had.
What
Like
do we talk about?
yeah, because it happens. Like it's one of those things. It's
Well,
your brain. It's a
it
weird.
also comes down to how that particular person learns. So
Mm,
some
Yeah.
people are always better with repetitive nature. So if you learn something, some people can pick it up just learning it one time, just by
Yeah.
doing it once, and it's all flat down. As long as it's and also the way it's presented to someone. So
Yes.
Yeah.
it's
It has to
based
be
on the way
clear,
it's
precise.
yeah,
Like
clear, precise,
this.
laid out.
Which
They've got
that's what I like.
yeah,
Mm.
where sometimes it needs to be they've got references so they can refer back to it. So
Yes.
people can remember bits of it, but if they have like the the proper work back sheets for it, they can refer to it and just go, yep, yeah,
Yeah.
now I know. It just needs that one thing to trigger everything else. It's also sometimes where people learn emotionally, so they'll as long as it's being triggered by certain trigger emotionally, that's when they can remember everything from there. Whilst most other people will be like, hey, look, I've only got 20% of that time, then you got to learn it again and again. As long as you all repetitively learn that, do that same task a few times to absorb all of it. Like I said, normally it's 20%. So in theory, you'd have to do it 5 times in order to
Yeah.
let the 100% be, mold into
And
your
then maybe
mind.
another one just to make sure. Like
Yeah, exactly. To make sure you've got it. It comes down to confidence as well. When you're learning something, you've got the confidence that you've retained that information. But that's why I'm going back. It's going to be hard for lowering
retaining's the
the
hard part because you can remember it up to so long.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it's just like,
That's exactly.
Yeah. And on top of that, it's what these days where we've got a lot more information that we need to retain.
Well,
in order
phones now, like fuck, everything's on the internet.
Phones for me is more like a helping guide. So for
Yeah,
things that you can't remember, it helps you go back to it to kind of go, all right. So it's where you try and remember things that go, well, I don't need to know this
what
because it's useless information. but
what
it's
your
nice
math
to
teacher
bring
used
up.
to say? You don't have a calculator in your pocket, and now we've got mobile phones. Like,
Calculators in their
calculator in my
pockets.
pocket.
Yeah, you're
But
not.
that's
Yeah, it's
also
like
still dependent on other, other things where, well, is it always going to have power? You may forget your phone.
I mean, the way these people charge their phones, they've always got fucking power.
I mean, calculators
Well, yeah,
everywhere.
that's true. I
It's
use wireless
crazy.
base where I just put it down. I don't have to kind of fiddle with
Yeah, that's what I'm
wires and
using.
plug it in now, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. But it's always that what if society ever
Yeah, like this thing
crumbles,
here, like,
it's, are we ever going to have a phone in that situation?
Well, some people will be in a shock, if something happened, because some people
Oh
are so
yeah.
dependent.
It's you shouldn't be dependent on certain forms of
I'm not
technology
cutting out a
because
chip in the fucking
it's
brain at some point. Just
and that's what the previous generation always tries to teach us. We don't become dependent on
Yeah.
on the next form
well, I
of
prefer pen and
technology.
paper than a fucking
Well, yeah,
That's
and
it.
then even before that, the generation instead of preferring pen and paper, they do it in their head, just and then form of was the new technology, and then so on and so forth, like computers.
like pen and paper. You can't really just lose that of a corruption or it's always
Yeah,
it's always
exactly.
there.
The
Well, it
corruption
can
in the
get
real world is coffee or
destroyed.
fucking
Yeah.
yeah,
So-
just being destroyed
Oh
or
yeah,
shut up.
but
Yeah. But
Physical
even
corruption.
then, it's the thing where
Who wants
is
to
we should
shred this
always
podcast,
try
though?
and teach the next generation, do not be reliant too much on the new technology, because there is always
At least not
situations where
initially
you
in the
may
first years. Like, just
well
wait,
Yeah.
and then see
it,
what
it
happens.
it's it well that phrase is more reliant on not just kind of getting by for work or anything like that, but
Yeah.
even for entertainment. That was also emphasized for us as well. Do not rely on the new form of technology, which is not just for
No.
learning, it's for entertainment, it's for in general. Because if you who's ever experienced a blackout that was lasted more than 5 hours, am I right?
Yeah.
Your phone,
Oh,
you
yeah.
go through the phone, it
You
dies in
just
that
sit there, it's like,
time. You sit there, it's either like, oh, I
People
need to go
literally
to
just shut
sleep.
down. Like people just freak, don't know what to do half the time. It's like
Oh yeah. Except with no
I
power,
got a backup plan. See,
you're
like I know what to
you're
do. You
that's
know?
that's why
pretty
you play
much
your cards, your mahjong, your checkers, your
Yeah.
fucking chess.
Well, and that's not relying on new technology. That's relying on older
That's why
technology.
people that are
If
onto
you could,
that, they have their game cupboard. They have their board games or they have their books. That's why people.
yeah,
That's why like some people may not read, but they hold on to books. They hold
yeah.
on to the trivial
Well, like,
things that just seem of the old times because if anything
yeah.
goes wrong, you lose power. You've got something to fall back on. You've got candles to fall back on. You have these reserves to
Well,
keep you ready to go.
even then, what happens if you ever lose? You still have power, but what happens if you lose internet? Then you're
Exactly.
just like, I can't go on YouTube or anything like
That's
that.
why I got all them.
Yeah, exactly. You got DVDs, you got like physical books. I see
Mhm.
Got
people with like
games, movies,
with the
books,
pads
Like you still
now.
got
With,
power, but you got no
magazines,
internet. You
comics,
can play games. You can watch DVDs. You can watch movies.
or unless they're digital.
Yeah,
yeah. It's morally, it's just we shouldn't always rely on the
Which
latest greatest
digital
technology.
is like exactly.
Um, normally reasons for that is for me. This is my opinion. Is because that technology might also be a fad.
Yeah.
oh
And
yeah,
but this is and even then, it's like whenever it gets first released, it's only ever just a prototype.
Yeah. Well, that's
yeah.
that's
That's
the
really
biggest
like you wait
thing.
a couple of years, 5 years,
Yeah,
and
they
then if
take
it's still
ages
around,
refining that technology. Don't mind me, I'm just topping up the
Yeah.
yeah.
1 liter Gentleman
But
Jack,
that's
and
like
I
that
use
with
my
any
Gentleman
technology
Jack.
advancements. Like that was like a thing I was watching recently, like with the like AI and stuff like that. Just the advancement of where we've come from where we are now with AI, but from the
Well,
beginning
even
of
just
when
from 2 years, like
well not just that, like from where it started, the beginning of where it started was the invention of photography. To go
yeah,
from a photo that was developed that took time, someone take a photo, it exposed, took time to develop, process, to then having that photo being done in frames, to being motion
now it's
images,
just instant. Like
yeah,
to then have it go from multiple frames of photos to make it a moving image, to
yeah,
then make it transmitted, over a
yeah.
screen, over
Oh,
a signal, and then have that now like we have machines that are literally creating these images, you know
I
that it's
I can
creating
segue
photos,
to that.
like it's crazy.
Uh, I remember when AI generated art was making its
Mm.
rounds when it first came out, and there was a big there was a post from several artists that, for example, at conventions that would sell their art, and it's all original art that they created. And there
yep,
was a post that said that if anyone at the conventions tries to go to the conventions and sells
Mm.
off any of this AI generated art, because a lot of it was based on because it takes it from a database.
Yeah,
AI
yeah.
takes information that is current, that is
uploaded,
absorbed by the AI,
absorbed public
and up
library.
As long
and
as it's on the
uses
internet,
that.
it just takes from it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Like
public
yeah.
library.
It's not true AI where it creates something
nah,
from nothing. It
no,
takes
it
it from
can't.
a database, which is the internet
It never
itself.
will. Like
So when
Yeah,
artists put their art online, the AI will grab that art and put it into something and use it as an inspiration, you can say, to create
yeah,
yeah.
original art. And because of that, the debate of artists going, hey, look, we're creating original art from our minds that are, just
They're literally coming
hand
from
drawn,
nothing. Yeah, or maybe slightly influenced.
coming from nothing, which is the
isn't
debate.
replicated. Like it's its own thing. Like there's
Yeah.
nothing else like it.
Like
Mm.
you like me, making a Dragon Ball shirt. Like yeah, okay,
Yeah,
I looked and I replicated it in the form that I've drawn it myself,
you
but
took
AI.
elements from
Yeah, but I did it
things.
myself.
Yeah,
I created these elements myself. Where AI
yeah,
isn't creating its own elements; it's literally going, okay, I've scanned
Yeah,
Frieza. Like I've gone through Frieza, Dragon Ball Z. Okay, I've scanned a million images. I'm gonna now take those elements and create those
yeah.
elements from the sourced
Yeah.
files where it's different.
into a thing that the person typed
Yeah.
in. Like,
Exactly,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it's giving the
Which
code word
is-
so it knows
which
what
is-
to look for. So that's why you have keywords. That's why AI has phrase words, because then it knows
Yeah.
what category of library. Because you got to think these libraries are huge
Oh yeah,
of
yeah,
database.
exactly.
So
It takes them
you're
from
giving it
database
these
and
code
library.
words to shortcut it so it knows what to go looking for. So you know,
Yeah.
you type in Goku, it goes, okay, you've asked for Goku. Okay, go to the directory. Here's a massive directory of Goku. You could fake if you faked detailed, like say a pit photo of Nicolas Cage and always tagged as Goku, 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 Goku.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
went to
yeah.
go, okay, someone googled AI Goku, you would get Nicolas Cage because that's what the assumption of what Goku looks like. You know,
Yeah,
you could
yeah, yeah.
could
It takes it
falsify
from that
and manipulate
database, which
AI.
is-
You know, that's
Yeah,
the
it's same
example.
with Wikipedia. Like you can literally go in and make your own post and change.
Yeah, and make your own
description.
Wikipedia page.
that's
But
why you never
going back
believe
to that,
Wikipedia. Like,
Yeah.
straight up.
I was catching up with some people, and one person there was. I love it. Their explanation was, so they created an online store, and they're
Yep.
saying they're putting AI art on the t-shirts and selling it.
Yeah.
Which I'm just kind of like going, all right. For one, that's taking
You're
your
right
money
now.
away from the actual legitimate artists
Yeah.
out there.
Oh yeah.
That is one point. Another one was that was my opinion. Another thing was that this person was saying it is really difficult to create art in AI generated, and I called bullshit.
Easy.
It's
Yeah, exactly.
so
It
easy.
was so easy.
I've made
and they were,
so much
they were
that I use
trying
as
to
thumbnails.
make it
Takes
out
seconds, like,
that it was so hard to create something on AI generated art and put it on the t-shirt and sell it.
So easy.
I called massive bullshit. I said that is a lot. It is not hard at all. It would take me 5 minutes if I felt lazy just creating it to do the exact
Yep.
same thing that they were doing, and going.
it's
I'm
harder to
like,
create your own image. Like, it's harder,
Yeah.
way harder to do that. Like,
yeah, it was way harder to literally draw it out yourself from mind and kind of get that right, the way that you perceive
just
that your imagination is creating this
someone
object.
took maybe days to draw that. Like,
Yeah, come up with
weeks,
a design,
months.
even if it's 3D models. Like they
Yeah.
still took
Like-
time to place them, pose them.
Exactly.
Like,
That took someone
AI
probably
lighting
actually
it,
should
a whole
be
year.
help
Who knows?
hasten the process, but at the same time, this person had the audacity to say this was very hard to achieve, to create AI art, which I'm like, you're just typing keywords in
So it gives you
to
a
create this thing, and then you'll just copy save these images and put it into a
Yeah.
shop and sell it and say that you're an artist.
Yeah.
And this person, the audacity of them, and I'm just like calling bullshit on them.
Let me
And they're
guess, you
still
got fucking
saying,
blocked.
no, this was face to face.
Was it?
I was
Face-to-face.
telling face
Ooh.
to face that you were talking absolute shit. It is
Wait,
not
so
hard.
were they straight face saying that, or were they like?
Yes, they were straight face saying this, saying,
People
"Oh, it's
are
so
wild.
hard.
Fucking
It's so
hell.
hard to create this AI art." And I'm like, "You're putting in keywords
That's
in
fucked, man.
and refining it, and I'm calling you absolute bullshit that you're grabbing this art, putting it, saying it's so hard to do. It is absolute fucking bullshit in the audacity of this person. Like,
Oh yeah.
but it's saying that whenever I do see this person, the amount of bullshit that comes out of their mouth is an obscene amount that basically I am compelled,
Word
fucking
diarrhea.
compelled and irate and just compelled just to call them out on their bullshit, because I don't tolerate that kind of like,
Yeah.
oh, it's so hard. It's like Bill Burr's speech saying that, you know, being a mother is such a hard job. And it's like, yeah, try working on a fucking oil rig out in the sea where, you know, any explosion and you'd be stuck in the ocean with sharks could kill you and eat you.
And the funny
you'd
part is,
freeze
they
to
don't
death
call that
in the
hard.
water.
The ones who actually work that, they don't call it hard. They just say it's fun. Like,
Yeah.
But you know
Or it's
what I
tiring,
mean?
but it's not
like,
hard. Like,
it's
Yeah.
just the audacity of this person.
Yeah.
Oh, goddamn audacity.
I
of
worked
this person
all
saying
day on
so
this.
goddamn
I
hard.
entered these keywords. It took me 5 hours to work on these designs. Oh my god! Like, oh.
And it takes me like 10 minutes just to keywords. Done. Oh,
Take
wait,
me
I have
hours
the
to make
same,
a design.
seconds,
I have
man.
the same automatically generated art that you just took 5 hours to create. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
That's
But like,
yeah.
But like in the perspective like where AI is coming there, I've been looking at a lot of like AI videos lately, and AI is advancing so rapidly now. Like it is.
But it
like,
still
it
looks
is,
fucking dog shit.
Oh no,
Really.
there's some videos that are AI generated that are done, which of course like have like maybe people that have used to like be the frame for the scene, you know, like then the AI masks over it. But some of them are so like clean and amazing these days. That's getting there. You can still see like the slight degradations of warping and stuff like that, but like it's getting so good now.
You can see the warping.
Oh,
You
like
can
the
see
extra
the
hand?
miss. You can see
Hands
the
are still
extra
weird.
fingers. The
the hand, the fingers, yeah. It was funny because I
it's
saw
faces
some
as well.
posts.
Like faces.
But
Can
like,
be
where
fucked,
there's
man.
a like I said, I watched a video
Yeah,
a couple of days ago, and it was like the most cleanest. Like it was in an AI video. It was like the first video they showed of like where AI started like 4 years ago was like that weird of like Will Smith eating the spaghetti, and it's just like weird demented
yeah,
like fever dream.
That is
Yeah.
fucking good though.
And then the other video after that was literally like a person blinking and like the street driving and stuff like. And these were all AI generated footage.
I mean,
And it's
street
like-
driving's
it's-
pretty simple.
Yeah, no, but like it looked so good. Like it looked just like a
It's
next level
people
CG.
that are
Like
hard,
it's
like-
so good. It had people walking, like this person in focus, and it was just like really good. Like it's insane. Like the quality, it was just like
I
amazing.
I
saw
don't, I
this
don't, I don't think
post.
people realize that the AI has been a thing for the last 30 years.
It helps with
it's
everything.
been way back
Oh,
in the
yeah.
80s.
Yeah,
But
Different
there
levels
was,
of it.
There was
Even
this
earlier than
post
that.
that I saw where criminals were like wearing these extra little finger rings, so it looks like there's an extra finger hanging out. So when they submit the footage for the surveillance footage, because of the extra finger, it would look like
Yeah.
it was an AI generated footage, so it
wasn't
would
real.
be admissible in court. And
Yep.
I'm just like, that is absolutely hilarious.
Because that's
Uh,
another argument as well that I was in this video I was watching. Was talking about with the history of everything was like we're getting to that point where AI is getting near on so close and real, and what people are doing with it that how would you know that the evidence that are being submitted in court cases is real? Because there was like this dude who was being acquitted or accused in court
Well,
by
I
his
think they
ex.
have to give a source where the image was from, though. Like,
Well, that's it, that's
camera
sometimes
oh
it's
or-
yeah,
like-
they can tell the sources. Yeah.
There's all these things like this dude was being sued and basically having the rights of his daughter taken away from him because there was a audio recording used as evidence, which then they broke down like once they got into the actually digging in and searching at that the voice and recordings was actually AI generated by the wife, but she used it as a bit of
Those AI
evidence.
voice recordings are fucked.
Like some of these are
They're nothing.
no,
lifelike.
but that's the problem though. We're getting that point now. What the scariest problem is we're getting apps. If you look at anywhere, there's advertisements for like use this filter, try this song app out. There's all these apps that are pushing now to give people free upload data of their voices and faces samples that these data banks are taking, which then once you've got it, it keeps running and running and running and running and running. So yeah, it may sound at the first time using it, it's janky, but the more it keeps practicing and people keep using, or the AI keeps using it, it gets better and better and better because it's learning. It's constantly learning. So it sounds, you know, and then it sounds like the person. Like it's crazy, like what you can do, and with a bit of human intuition, hands-on tweaking, you can edit anything because you know an AI voice sounds bad, but you tweak the vocal pitching or like cut out the spaces between.
It always sounds
wording.
robotic, like no matter
Not-
what you do to it.
No, that's it. There was a video like this. This dude's video had like 50% of the video was AI, and you
The
didn't
fact
even
they
know.
called it out means it was definitely
Like,
something wrong with it.
like he did it himself. Like he, like was showing in his video that it's gotten that far that he tricked you as the viewer into believing that was him talking. He goes, "No, you know the sentence I just said wasn't even me. This was an AI generated voice, and it sounded so clean, so paced out. It was scary. Like you wouldn't even think."
Well, remember those
You know?
face swaps about
Yeah.
like 3 years ago,
Mm.
3 or 4 years
Yeah.
ago? So whenever you downloaded that app, there was
Yep.
always the disclaimer saying when you used
You're
it,
stored, yeah,
you were stored in their system for them to use anywhere else or
for up to
anything
5
else.
years or something like that.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
why I
yeah.
never
So
downloaded
that's
any
why a
of
lot of people are like, "Hey, look, that stuff is being saved somewhere."
There's a lot
It's
of
like
that.
when you for example, when you get your genetics tested, like
Yeah,
you
your
know,
DNA.
see your family tree and all that kind
Yeah,
of
they
stuff.
store
Yeah,
that as well.
yeah, they store that information.
Well, they have
Even
to
though
do that.
Yeah.
well, yeah, even though they say, "Oh, we won't give it out,"
Well,
but
they
there
don't
has been
really.
cases where you know people have gained access to it
Yeah.
through legal cases. So
Yeah.
there's nothing to really stop from that information getting out. So
100%.
eventually,
You put a picture on Twitter. That's all they can take that too. Like just
Yeah, up to public. That was the one thing that got me. Like recently, when I had to get a back payment from my old job, with Big W. They owed me some residual money, so. And to get proof of identity, that's like, we want you to, take these photos so we know it's you. And it's like, you get my license ID. I had to take a front photo, side photo, a photo with my mouth open, like all these things just to prove that it was me. I'm like, that's going to be stored now into an AI. So I'm like, just to get this money, I was like, that's going to be stored in their system with me doing this, which then, because I've got my front profile, side profile, slightly top profile, and under profile, they can now take that, store that, and then recreate a copy of my face because
They can
it's
sell it
on
if people
those
want it, like, really.
angles.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
realistically, like, okay, yeah, you got the one side of your face, or if they do both sides,
I'm
you
pretty
can
sure
still
there's
kinda
going to be
map that.
legal things happening with
Oh.
AI soon, though. Like, they're going
There'll
to
be a lot
crack
of
down
stuff.
on it.
They're going to try to, especially with like these things happening with these court cases for anything, and the fact like we spoke last time, a couple episodes back with the Taylor Swift thing, like it's
Yeah.
like we're starting to see more, like, and everything has code. Like you can like have these files, and you can actually break down that these code, like in the source files, that it is a digital image. It's not real.
Yeah.
Like there's evidence that it was,
Eventually, it's gonna go like it's easy to do digital stuff now. So eventually, it is going to
That's what the big crackdown is
evolve.
going to be.
Well,
It's
yeah,
the security
eventually
to
it's
manage this stuff, so that you have these
Yeah.
newer softwares, newer securities to
No.
scan and process and read.
Well, no. The thing I'm saying is, yes, we're using digital forms of identification at the moment. But we know that with all these apps and all the AIs, it can be manipulated.
Yes.
Yep.
So eventually, they'll have to create another layer of security.
Yeah, exactly it.
Eventually, where it's going to be
Detect everything.
well, not just it's going to be like before it was two-factor authentication. So you
Yeah.
literally have to put in numbers or like use a phone. That's another form of digital.
Yeah.
That's now it's facial recognition.
That's right. I don't use it. I just use my
And then
fucking
it's
fingerprint because
also
you can't
fingerprint.
replicate that.
Mm.
At
Well,
least
kind
not
of.
online.
It's everything's in ones and zeros. It's captioned ones and zeros.
Mm.
If they can just replicate, all they need is a copy of it, and then they can use it themselves. But everything's being done digital form security. Eventually, it's going to be more biometrics, which I know governments are working on that.
You
Biometrics.
have to like step your
Actually,
blood into
yeah.
something or
Yeah. It's going to be like blood.
Something you can't replicate,
Something
basically.
that can't be replicated, like your genome, like your DNA.
Let's just think like Total Recall on that. Like you'll have to get something stabbed just to access your phone or
surprisingly enough,
your
this
computer or
morning,
something.
well, like I say, surprisingly enough, this kind of another thing of like that security of like things that are taken. Like surprisingly enough, this morning I jumped on YouTube and Matthias uploaded a new video, and it was a dope note video, but he bought himself that Apple Vision, and like look how much data you give over. Like Apple have taken your thumbprints for scanning. It has facial recognition. And it has eye recognition, because like the new thing that with the Google Vision, Apple Vision, you actually got to do a face scan, and it creates a profile of your face, and it has everything.
It's so other people can see it on the outside.
Yeah, and it has like a profile for you, and it's crazy. Like he gave to his brother to wear, and anyone else can wear it while you're going to this profile creator, and almost that person who's wearing it is animating that.
It's because it's a solid bit of plastic. Like you can't see through it, and they can't see through. So they have to replicate your face on the actual outside, or whoever's wearing it.
But it's just a profile thing. Like
it's just so when you're looking at someone, you can see a face. Like that's all it is.
Yes and no. There's a lot of different things, but
no, that's exactly what it is. They've already said that. Like and so you're looking at someone. It's not just a blank fucking bit of plastic. That's what it is.
It's a lot of weird stuff, because it's the whole thing though. Like,
but still, $3.5 grand for that. Apple, go fuck yourself.
It's the whole face though.
No one's gonna buy it except for
if
YouTubers
someone bought
and
it for you, you'd be like, yeah, this is not bad.
I wouldn't use it. I don't use Apple products, bro.
Yeah.
It's just buy a pair of ski goggles. You're halfway there.
Exactly.
Yeah, just do this. Wear a pair of ski goggles. just pretend in public that you're using it.
It's just crazy.
So people just don't disturb you. You just be like this.
Right?
But in fact, you just really you're faking it.
Just there, going there. You have ski goggles on. You're just doing that, and it's just you going, haha, it's squishing people's heads, like haha, squish, haha,
Yeah,
squish,
yeah,
haha,
squish,
squish.
squish.
I remember doing that in the
Squish.
fucking car, just going
Squish.
around. Ding, ding, ding.
They'd be like, honk, honk,
Um,
squish, squish.
I'm trying to
squish.
remember that's the Brisbane-based comedy skit, Crack and Milk,
Yeah.
and they did their form. It's like everyone's wearing ski goggles, and guys like, oh, I got the new Apple Google
Vision.
the ski goggle thing,
Yeah.
and it's like you guys using it too, and they're like this, and it's like, no, you're all just on heroin. It's like, what
God
the
dang
hell?
it.
Yeah, because you're just high crack.
Yeah.
People on
I
crack
mean,
or
you are
something
high if you
like that.
do buy it because $3.5 grand for that.
I mean, it is a weird
If you
VR
have
headset.
more,
Like
if you have the money, yeah, sure, but then you can always think about like,
I mean,
what
it
else
makes
can you use that money on?
it makes sense though when you balance out like what VR goes for,
Yeah.
and then you go what Apple likes
That's
to put
not
in their
VR
price
though.
tags.
That's freaking AR.
Yeah, but it's the
money-
same. But still, like VR and AR are still in that same category. Like a
Two
headset
different
isn't
things
cheap.
completely. Like,
Oh.
Yeah, well, and this function, yes, but like a VR headset is $1,000-$2,000. So you get like an AR headset's going to be the same price. Like you're doing extra functions.
Yeah.
But then again, you got to think, okay, now Apple are going to put their price tag on it, so that's why it goes.
Yeah.
So it's understandable what the price is.
Apple's
like,
always
it's...
expensive. Like, no matter
Exactly.
what they make.
Yeah.
They can take a shit and fucking $1,000.
The way
Exactly.
I always understand it is the fact that if people don't go out and fork out $3,000 for something now, that
I'm
it's a
hoping
new
they
type
don't.
of. Well, no. But okay, listen to me. For this is so if people don't fork out for it now, in the way that it looks like massive ski goggles, it's if people don't invest in things now, there's no way that they'll improve it eventually for the future when it does actually look and feel
Do more, yeah.
good to be used. So it's like, remember when the first mobile phone came out was chunky, but you're doing comparison to what it is now to what it was originally when it first came out. Like
Phones
mobile
were smaller
phones
back then too. To be fair.
Well, yeah, because
They
of all
didn't
the
have
sport
anything.
was in
Yeah.
them. They didn't have anything.
It
in
literally
them.
just called.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing. And so even then, but you think about some of the first phones that were mobile that
Snake.
did call.
They were
They were massive, you know, like
yeah,
fucking
that's
flying.
felt like
fucking-
suitcases with just a cable. And,
Oh, hello,
yeah.
you know.
So if people didn't buy the stuff that it first came out, then
to support it.
there would be nothing. Yeah, there would be no support for it to make it to what it is now. So you be grateful on what the phones that you have now, because if there wasn't for people back then forking out thousands of dollars for the product when it first came out, there'd be no interest and no scientific development for it to become what it is now, which smartphones have everything. You use it, you know. Now, like if it wasn't for that, you'd still be
And again, that's
doing
why
maths on
the
your
joke.
hand.
Exactly, that was gonna say that's the joke.
Teachers were right.
That's literally the reason why they put calculators in the phone, because those people that invented these phones wanted to make fun of the joke that the teacher always said you'll never have a calculator in your pocket. So when they did the function, they go, let's add a calculator because let's say, you know,
and a phone's always in your pocket, so it just makes sense. Like, just chuck everything in there: a calendar, a phone,
exactly, especially with
whatever else.
Later,
Phones have
it's like the reason why ships became faster and much more reliable, because the ships that we had back then, if people didn't bother about putting sails on ships and going overseas, they never would have advanced.
To make it faster, to make it stronger, to make it carry more, to make it
exactly what they have now.
And that's why the Titanic had to go down. Otherwise, we'd still be doing the way they did it.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. But my
that was
way
just
of
a money scheme anyway.
Never make fun of the people that first choose to do something, because they're the innovators,
no matter what you buy,
and the beta testers that enable it for eventually that thing could actually be the latest thing that is being used now, that is taken for granted by so many people. But the reason why I say don't take things for granted, like don't rely on the new form of technology, because it's always just the first form of that.
And that's actually it. Just because it's AR, that's the other thing. Is because it's AR. If we have we know where VR sits, and now we've got this AR. Because if AR takes off and it gets advanced better and it can get more compact, it could also lead the way for VR to get compact. You know what I mean? Like because it's
AR
this
is
kind of stuff.
already compact though,
but it could get even more compact.
Quest,
you know, like you get to a point where you just have like a straight up like display and that's it, just like a smaller, slimmer
Yeah.
display.
That's like
You
the
barely
Quest.
have
The
anything.
Quest
Like
is that.
The glasses that you're wearing now, it could eventually lead to that, where they
Yeah.
just have all the electronics in the sides and have it in there, or
Well, there already
eventually
is that,
just,
isn't there? It's
which
like
is
there are some stuff.
Elon,
It's not.
yeah,
yeah,
or
like
which
there's
is what
very
Elon
little.
Musk is leading towards, which is having a chip put in your head, and you'll be able to have everything in there.
I wouldn't care about that. Fuck. If it means your phone's in your head, then fuck it.
Yeah. I'd still prefer a device that is external, because that means
You wouldn't have to charge it.
I don't want to fry my brain.
No. Well, the reason why I prefer a device that is external, because if you have anything hardwired into you, it always has you need that layer of security that you can always turn something off and turn something on.
If I can switch it back of your head.
Your control, rather than having someone else possibly having control over it. It's like, if it's that.
I mean, we don't have control over our phones, to be fair.
Yeah, but you don't want a chip in your head that could.
Exactly. Do you want your phone directly
was
put
it the
into
Android fucking whatever it was that blew up?
At least you wouldn't forget it. You'd always know where it is.
Yeah, but you have a chip in your head, and they could just overheat and blow up. Next minute, your brain's getting blown up because the chip's overheat. Things like that.
Oh yeah.
That's the weird dark.
I'm pretty sure that wouldn't happen though.
Samsung 50 that's installed into your brain, but there's something wrong with the battery, so it explodes your frontal lobe, and next minute you're stuck in a ward for the rest of your life.
I mean, that's one way to go, because you wouldn't
just
feel
like
it.
this, because it's the only form of communication you can do. Like I said, it's never rely on the first form of it.
Like I watched another video, because I've been watching this stuff going down the rabbit hole. And this is actually using AI in a good sense, which was in a sense of they've wired up the neurons to the brain, which was like a connect to it, and worked on the neural, like the muscles, and how you try and, like, for people that can't speak, and it was actually like connected through, and it was AI basically interpreting, picking up on the signals on what the person was saying and giving people a voice, which was really cool as well. Like that. Like things like that are advancing really well, and it's going that step further. Like we had things like what Stephen Hawking had. He had his little computer, but this is now actually coming from the person's brain. They're actually able to say it basically themselves into a voice. And it's responsive.
And that's where things like AI can help in the future when doing things like that. That's where it can be good, but it's just my experience is you don't always put 100% faith that you always got to leave that ability to turn off.
I have no faith in the Apple Pro. Like, it's going to be a niche thing, and then
no faith in humanity.
I mean,
anything Apple. I have no faith in anything Apple. It's Apple. All they care about is money. That's all they care. At the end of the line, it's the bottom dollar, like the top dollar.
Because I saw someone tear it down. It's very minimal. Like, it's very basic.
But this is gonna be the start. If this sells, this is the thing. If this sells, this will create other companies to go, we're going to make our version and we're going to do it better. And then it's going to be cheaper.
Microsoft tried, failed. Apple's doing it. They don't know yet.
Reason why you need to have people first invest in it. Eventually, they can come back to it and make it better every single time. Because sometimes things are limited by the technology that is available at that time.
Yeah.
Like when you remember when VR was like back in the 90s.
Yeah, like that was way back. Like Nintendo.
The red and blue glasses.
Yeah. So how it was limited then, and the visual.
Well, that big Nintendo headset. Remember, Nintendo had that VR headset. It was huge.
Yeah. Some things you just need to come back to every now and then, but you still don't knock that prototype because that idea opened the gateway. It wasn't ready for that time because the technology didn't represent it the way it needed to be. It wasn't at the peak that it could have achieved. You'd have to come back to it when technology evolves. Like normally, I would say
10, 20 years, and
every 10 years you need to come back to it.
But if you didn't create it,
but if you don't come back to it, it's a shame.
But I'm saying, but without someone creating that, we wouldn't have the stepping stone to go from that, even down the track. Like if no one created it then, no one would think about doing it later, or they would, but then it'd be so primitive that you'd be behind. So it's good that we've got a lot of these old technologies that we need to look back on and improve on them now.
Yeah, well, Sony's pretty much perfected VR. It's just got to be a little bit smaller, like.
But that's like for all technology. All technology you need to come back to it now and then and reassess it and see if you can make improvements. If you can't, then like.
I mean, my PC's bigger than they used to be. Fuck.
Yeah,
PCs have been made smaller and smaller.
You
now.
can be like
But at
this
the same
fucking
time,
big. You can have a little tower, like
you
runs
can
perfectly like
still
a
do it.
high-powered one. Like
however you build it.
same as TVs, they only got fucking larger. They've got smaller.
They're smaller and bigger.
Well, I mean, they've gotten thinner. Like the OLEDs are fucking as thin as a piece of paper.
Have you
like,
seen some of the
well,
TVs
that technology is
been...
what's used in the phones, you know.
Yeah, have you seen some of the TVs that they've announced?
Mm.
Like the VR ones and the wireless ones, the wireless TVs.
Yeah.
Have you seen them?
that'll be like the fucking 3D TVs to be farting in the wind. Like,
oh no, there's one of like the 3D TVs. It's like 2 screens, like side by side, like. So you've got a gap in the middle, so you've got one screen and you've got another screen, but there's a massive gap in the middle, and it kind of like creates that 3D effect.
So it projects out almost, so you have that in front
Yeah,
of you.
yeah. There's some of those TVs.
So your eyes, it uses your eyes, so then your eyes kind of like blend the image and it creates an actual...
Would that mean I can use my
Almost
old
like
3D movies on that TV then?
No, it's different 3D, I think. It's
yeah,
left and right. One's left and right. It's a different level 3D.
That's what they are now. Like,
no, that is on the one screen. This is 2 different screens splitting each side.
But have you seen the wireless TVs as well?
Or they would just make it left and right on the actual disc itself, and then reissue the thing. Actually,
yeah. Because literally, it's putting it to the different screen. One's left and one's right. Where in the 3D movie, they have like the base layer, the left layer, and the right layer, and they're all together.
Yeah, like they can, like James Cameron can do his Avatar on the new 3D TV.
Yeah.
Because
So basically, what this TV does is it's
TV,
not just a manipulation of 3D.
I'm just gonna.
It's giving you
that's gonna be expensive as
it's
fuck.
giving you the manipulation of like a hologram almost. So it's 3-dimensional hologram is what the TV's doing. So you look at it, you know how you do that eye trick where you look at 2 images and you cross your eyes kind of thing, and that one image pops out in the middle, almost like it's there. You could almost touch it. It's doing that kind of 3D, which isn't realistically good for the head per se.
It's not even 3D.
It's a weird display. Like, yeah, it's a weird...
Proper 3D is you got a headset on because it comes at you. Like,
that's why they want to try and cut down, I think, is getting away from
that won't be headsets. A good TV then at that point.
It's to make it look like a natural...
It's way over there. It'll be like not even coming at you.
Yeah, it's a weird...
a little bit out. Like, it's pointless.
Exactly. It's a weird thing, so...
Because I used to love my little 3D TV. I ducked once because I'm like, the sword just went through this fucking screen. I'm like, ah!
Like, that's the thing, because I think it's because you had to have the glasses and then trying to get replacements, and then it created all this extra things. So they're trying to find ways to have less accessories but more accessible, and that's the weird part. But that's
just dog shit because you wouldn't get the same effect.
It's a different type of. It's a different type of 3D. It's basically trying to do like almost like
cheap. Like it's not
cheap,
like
but like
it is. It's a cheaper version because it
it's still
work
expensive.
as intended. It's not even an upgrade.
But like they need to try and look at Nintendo's quality of how they did their 3D, like the 3DS, like how they developed. Because remember how you could actually turn the 3D on and off. They need to figure out that
3DS was very bad 3D though. Like
but if
I just turned it off because it wasn't good.
That's what I mean. But that's because no one's working on it to perfect it. The more you work on it, the more you evolve it, the more it gets better. You know what I mean? Like a stick is just a stick. But people worked on the stick, and the stick became more things. You know what I mean? Like
the PS3 VR was peak because I played COD one day. I couldn't see past the gun when I was aiming on COD. I'm like, there's fucking guns in the way.
But was that was built? You didn't need Did you need the glasses for that, or it was just without glasses?
Yeah.
See, if they can do it where you didn't require glasses, anyone could just turn it on.
You wouldn't get the effect though because it wouldn't be coming at you. It'd just be on the screen still. Like
that's what I mean. Like if
that's not 3D.
It's still 3D. It's still 3D. Like it's not.
Yeah, but
any different.
proper 3D is the effect coming at the viewer, like at them.
Yeah. It's different.
Which you can't replicate without
tomato.
Like,
it's yeah. That's why they're trying to find ways of doing it where they
it's
can
not 3D without a headset. It's just not.
That's why they're trying to find ways of doing it without it.
Or 3D
perception.
visual.
Yeah.
Like perception. Like a 3D movie. Things have to come at you, like in like.
But that's what I'm saying. Like that's
like
the 3DS did it. With, a lot of the games did it really well. Where even though it was more of an in-depth 3D, it did feel like it was coming out at you, even though it was in a box. You know, it was an interesting way of how they did it. It was pretty good. So, but without people working on the technology like the 3D TVs, they had it. It was a fad, and then it died. No one kept working on it, which I guess some people have.
No, because no one bought it. That's why.
That's exactly it. So if there's no support for it, no one works on it.
I had one, but I was like one of 10 maybe who fucking had a 3D TV.
And that's the thing, like, that's the biggest thing, is technology, things need to keep being bought and worked on and showed interest in, so that we can evolve and keep doing more with that.
I'm pretty sure 3D TV will come back from LG.
Well, there's a lot of people that did 3D TVs, not
because there's still
LG.
3D movies coming out. So I'm like, just make another TV because they're getting old now. Like 10 years.
Like everyone was doing 3D TVs. Like it's nothing.
Yeah.
No one was being innovative with like.
Yeah, but you try and buy a new one now, you can't because no one's making them.
Because no one wants it. There's nothing currently being supported for it. If they had more,
well,
stuff
there is.
Coming
There's always
out,
3D movies coming out.
No, they're not really. I haven't seen any 3D movie in ages that have been released.
Like, it was a gimmick for a while because
it's like you can't buy a 3D movie unless it's like an old version, and a lot of those old copies have been like obsoletely sold. There's no new 3D production, like purchasable DVD. Like it's all old stuff. Like it's not a fat. Like,
okay, so Ant-Man Quantumania was in 3D.
Yeah, only on maybe at cinemas.
Aquaman's in 3D, like.
Yeah, the movies, but they didn't release them. You can't buy them in 3D.
No, there is a 3D version, I think.
Nope. Huh. No 3D copy. Like they don't do that. It's not a purchasable thing. They might have done a novel, they might have done a short release, but it wasn't the main focus. Like they stopped supporting that and selling that for people. Like it was a gimmick. They may have done it for cinemas. 3D is basically only a cinema gimmick now. It's not a home release thing. Like everyone's over that basically. Like sales for cinema releases for 3D were a lot like smaller compared to people wanting to just go watch it basically, and most people streamed it anyway. Like it's the old times. Like it's come and gone. They need if they're gonna bring it back and keep doing more of it. I think they're trying to bring it back, but it's not happening. It's not working out how they want it to work out. Because no one wants it. No one needs it. Like, man. Jim's trying to find it.
Trying to find yeah.
But yeah, you're not gonna find much. Like, yeah, it's one of those things.
Because I've got fuck tons of 3D movies.
Yeah, you did.
Like,
that was like
not even recent too. Like
2015, 2016, most probably. Like it. You mostly bought some recently, but they were like when did they stop release? When was because that gimmick was up to like 2017, 2018, I think. That gimmick was, or even earlier than that.
It is what it is.
Like it is one of those things. Like it's been and gone. Like that fad came.
Like I prefer 3D movies because fuck, they get you invested in. They're like involved.
Yeah, but then every movie, then there was like a fad there where every movie was trying to do it when it didn't need to do it. It was just garbage.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't watch movies that were trying to force 3D.
I remember Jurassic Park 3D. Fuck, that was good.
And
like
it's good
the first movie in 3D was whoa.
It's good that we've come away from the old blue and red because that was just shocking watching a color movie in blue and red.
Yeah, mine was just a plain pear.
Clear.
Like mine was just like a black pear.
Like, I remember going to the cinemas. It was like fucking one of the Spy Kids movies, and I had to watch it in blue and red because that's the 3D glasses they gave you to watch the movie. And I'm like, what's the fucking point? Like, I want to watch the actual color.
Because the Blu-ray ones, recent ones, the last 10 years weren't the blue and red ones.
No, they definitely didn't do that with Blu-ray. Turn that now, like it's proper 3D. But like in the cinemas back in the day, they had that weird gimmick where it was blue and red, and it was like, why the fuck are we watching these movies? Like,
which is why I want like
2000s. It was the old school.
I need another 3D TV.
Yeah, so you can actually watch.
Because to watch all my old fucking movies, like fuck. Because they are better in 3D, like 100%.
Especially those that are made for it.
I think like Silent Hill in 3D. That was amazing.
The ones that are made for it make sense, and you're not getting the full potential out of it because you don't have the compatibility thing. Like it's fucked. Like it's one of those things. Going any further before we do, did you have any stuff this week, Jim? Did you have any did you pick up
this was today, but I did just write it down. But FromSoft acquired the Elden Ring trademark from Bandai Namco.
Oh, so they actually have it now.
With help from Sony.
Yep.
I'm like, ooh. I mean,
so
at least they got the name,
yeah, it's the rights, basically.
Yeah, the trademark. So they own Elden Ring now.
Yeah.
So it means they can just go anywhere at some point and just make that like a sequel, a remake, a remaster at some point. Like
mostly do something with Sony by the sounds of it.
Without restrictions, because under Bandai they would have had to give the green light. Like
do it a certain
Now
way.
they own it.
They go do this, do that. We want this. Now they can do whatever they want with that name.
Yep.
They could, because they own the name, they could go completely left field and turn Elden Ring into a space game. Like that's for an example. You know what I mean? Like no, but
don't put that out there.
But you know, you get so literal.
But will never do that.
No, but
because they've already got that with Armored Core. Like
without getting so literal, Jim. But you know, I mean, like that's the thing. Once you take a name, you can do whatever you want with it. You know, they could make it Sunshine, Rainbow, Lollipops. You know, like they own it. They can do what they want with that name. They
haven't bought the Bloodborne trademark, but Sony owns that.
Oh, at least.
I mean, I'm guessing they don't really need to buy it because Sony have it. Like, it's not like Sony a Bandai. Well. Yeah, well, Sony owns nearly a quarter of FromSoft. So
that's not bad.
I think they're creeping away like more and more because they're always putting more investment into them, just till eventually they can just go.
That's it. Well, they work well. They do their give and take.
Yeah. They've had a couple of exclusive. They had fucking Demon Souls and Bloodborne, like even longer than that. They had stuff on the PS1 that was only on there.
That's it, 100%. Brain fart. Did you? I was gonna say, did you pick up anything from? I haven't really got anything. Did you pick anything up?
Yes.
Did you get some goodies? I was gonna ask you. Got some goodies?
I did get some goodies. You're gonna like some of the goodies too. Ooh. Wookie may even like some too. You know, he's a PC master race, which is not the master race because PC sucks. I admit it.
Yeah.
Like it's good, but like
this PC console debate, it's a long-awaited debate.
I mean, they're both good and bad.
I believe consoles have their merits, and PC has their merits.
Yeah.
And it is what it is. I'm one of those PC lovers that basically goes, you like what you like. Who really
100%. That's it.
Hey, where you want to play, like, goddamn.
Yeah, exactly.
But
like it does limit to you, depending on if you PC or console limits to the games. But with something like Xbox Pass now, it generally opens you up to all the games. And even then, a lot of games being put on PC. It's just a shame that a lot of PC games aren't being put on console,
and
or aren't crossplay. Like
PC gets the busted version.
Well, that's because of the choice of developers. Because whether they want to start building the game,
old hardware, new hardware,
and that's down to the public, like the developers on how they want to make the game. It is what it is. I do enjoy crossplay. One game I wouldn't mind getting into is Helldivers.
Yeah, boy.
I still haven't gotten into it yet.
I'll say PC is very janky at the moment. There are a lot of issues on PC.
I know, but I know there's crossplay, which is between PlayStation and PC, which is fantastic. There should be more games like that.
Yes.
With crossplay. And also it's.
I think Sony's are because all their live service are between. That and PC, so.
From what I've been told, Helldivers 2 is what Starship Troopers the game should have been.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, that was
I played Starship Troopers and I thought that was fantastic, but that was still beta, and there's still more things to be done for it.
I think the building mechanic really weighs that down, like on that Starship Troopers game.
Yeah, I think there should be a mode where you just don't have to build. It should be
just fight the bugs,
just fight bugs. But even then, in that debate, after a while, it probably is going to be stale. Like anything, it's if you do something over and over again, don't expect a different result.
Especially because that is just bugs. Where at least on Helldivers, you've got automatons, you've got the bugs, and there's a third one, the aliens coming at some point.
Oh, so don't even get me started now. I've noticed the community that people are getting really defensive, being like, Earth Defense Force is a better Starship Troopers game. I was like, oh my.
Earth Defense Force is sick, though.
Yeah, I know, but everyone's trying to be like, play that over Helldivers, it's better game. It's like, it's not. You just go play your EDF and we'll enjoy our Helldivers.
I'll take Helldivers all day. It's
like,
fucking,
bro, I want to play more.
It's not janky at all, like, gameplay-wise, fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, PC's
got a lot of problems. I've been meaning to get into Helldivers. I know the community is very less toxic, or at least just doesn't show there's as toxicity.
The real community is not toxic. The ones who bought it just to piss people off are toxic.
Yeah. Okay, but the game balances that very well, so you can get rid of toxicity pretty quickly.
and that's good. Like, there's two things that kills the game for me is the toxicity behind it of the player base, and if that player base becomes way too toxic, then it's like, well, what's the point? Like, I'm here to play
Yeah,
a game.
COD.
Game's supposed to be fun, not like be
Mhm.
taken over by toxic players because
Well,
they have
you
no real
just want to
meaning in their
chill,
life
relax,
and they just don't have anything
have
else
fun.
going for them. So they have to invest all their time and efforts into a game and make it so toxic. They believe that they have a chokehold over a video game that eventually, after 5 or 6 years, that video game will die off, and the toxicity means nothing. And it's all because they don't have a life of their own, and they're just
Yep.
pathetic. It's
Yep.
just
I mean, that's
my
exactly
opinion.
what it is.
And
You're
and
having
then
fun. Stop it! Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
you're having
like,
fun.
it's
Stop it. And I have nothing going for
so
my
many
life.
people
So
playing
no
Helldivers
one
as
else
well.
should.
Like,
No one should have fun and a life.
I
Hell,
mean, we met two just randomly, and they're fucking good fun. Like,
like
Yeah. But I'm
Helldivers is
saying,
just like blown up tremendously. This company has done so well. Like the Helldivers hashtag is trending. Like it's crazy.
I
Like
honestly thought it
it's
would have
massive.
launched way not as big as it has been. Like, because I thought, like, because Helldivers 1's only a niche thing. Like,
yeah, and this
and then
is
it's like
like
this game, like, just
man, that's like that post I sent you because I sent you that because recently, because Starship Troopers has been pretty quiet on their social media, like their Facebook page, and they only recently shared that photo of that helmet, and that's why I commented on there with my democracy manifest with my Helldivers meme, and I was like, because it's just like kind of funny that they've been very quiet, and now, Helldivers is trending, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's interesting that they've just popped up all of a sudden, like, I wonder how they're going to respond to this,
Yeah, but the other type of player base that ruins games is cheaters.
Oh yeah.
And that's still, but the same thing is the troll, like the toxic
And that's the good
people
thing.
and the cheaters are pretty much the same because it's the same thing.
And that's the
They
good thing
do
with
it
this
because
game.
they have no real meaning in their life and they're just
But that's the
pathetic,
good thing with this game. It's
people,
good
and
because
they
if
don't
anyone's
have anything to
cheating,
fulfill it.
it's going to benefit everyone anyway because it's not
Yep.
PvP. It's all PvE. Like so it doesn't really matter. So if someone was hacking or cheating or doing anything, it's going to benefit everyone anyway. So there's no negative
and
way.
it does
Oh
monitor the
But
server,
I'm
so
just saying
you'll
the
get
two
fucking
types of
banned
player
quick.
base that ruins games in general is toxic people.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Toxic base, like the people,
And even then being toxic, like the only way people are really toxic are just being shit players.
And the funny
that
part
aren't
is, if they
pushing
want
their
to keep
weight.
killing you, they fuck themselves because you've only got so many fucking
Yeah, it's the
reinforcers.
health.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So,
but you see what I'm saying? It's just they're the
it's
two
good.
types of people that generally ruin the player base.
Yeah.
And then there's the rare ones, which is generally the developers themselves because they do something that shoots themselves in the foot.
yeah, Blizzard.
They do a patch or an update that makes the game worse.
Kind of at
And
the
then
moment.
either if they
Yeah,
don't
Blizzard.
backpedal,
Well, we've
they're
had that
just
moment.
gonna
We've had that problem at the
it's
moment where
just
like
gonna
the harder
die out.
difficulties have multiplied even harder. It's been
No,
a bit-
that's normal. That's actually how it's meant to be. I found out. It's just them planetary defense things are like that.
Well, no, we did other missions and then they were a bit hard. And the weird thing was, I joined Thingy today. I think they might have rolled out another patch because I joined
Another patch just went out just before too. My Discord
Chaotic.
went,
I joined Chaotic on a suicide mission, and it was a lot easier than what we were doing last night on bloody hard and challenging. It was so much more easier. It made no sense.
That's
It was
weird.
like what the fuck? Like I jumped in.
Yeah,
And
they're
I
still
was like,
trying to tune it like
yeah,
to
it's
a
crazy.
perfect balance,
So.
which fucking hard. Fucking hard. They
But
just gotta
anyway,
keep monitoring, see what's happening.
Anyway,
and
what have
just
you
keep
got? We'll
adjusting.
come back to you, Jim. What have you got? I want to know. I want to see what the fucking things you got.
Well, I already told you one of them.
Yeah.
But I picked up Gohan recently.
Yep.
Nice.
I like. I got it for like $40. I'm like, yeah, boy.
It's not bad.
But they got the blood on there and stuff, like which they fucking rarely do.
but
No Vegeta.
No Vegeta.
Oh.
No Vegeta.
There's Vegeta over there.
Vegeta.
okay, all right. Yeah, that's good.
Actually,
Vegeta
there's
over
two
there.
Vegetas in those boxes there that I can't even display.
Is he as big as my Vegeta?
Reason
Actually,
why I
them-
like
them
Vegeta
ones,
is
yeah.
because he was if you've watched Dragon Ball Z abridged,
Yeah.
where it's just one of my favorite scenes is when Vegeta and Bulma have a fight, and that's when they first hook up because they're just calling each other names and saying you're you're an upset sow, and it's like, get into my room in 5 minutes, and Vegeta's like, yo, okay. And then afterwards, it's like, hey, even after 4 broken ribs, you were pretty good. And she's like, wait a minute, where's your protection? He's like, I had protection on. I was wearing my armor for the entire time. And she's like, no, what's a condom? And she's like, no, I meant a condom. And he's just like, what the fuck is a condom? Because he's an alien. He doesn't know what condoms are. So, yes, one of my favorite scenes.
It's just weird how Akira Toriyama like lent into that in Super.
Yeah.
The fact that like Trunks gave Mai a kiss like to revive because like she's gonna die or something, and then Goku's like, he just did blah blah, and Vegeta's like, you've never kissed a woman. He's like, no, what's that? I'm like, you've got a kiss.
The whole, yeah.
And then Vegeta just pushes back. It's like,
Yeah.
He's like, how could you? It's like you've got a wife and kids.
Yeah.
I've never kissed once.
how?
Like
you've never kissed it.
you've died like how many times as well, and you've never kissed. Like
the irony is in that universe, the most strongest fighters in the world just don't know any of that intimacy kind of
Except
situation.
for Vegeta.
Except for Vegeta. Vegeta's the. But that's the thing, Goku gets laid because he has,
Gohan and Goten. Oh, not Goten. Fucking Goten.
But you also, like he's just literally just laying there going, "Oh, this is fun," and just
Right?
she's taking charge because she's that type of woman,
yeah,
and just literally put a baby in me, and he's just like,
Yeah.
"Oh, this is nice." So what is sex?
yeah.
That's pretty much what he. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Vegeta, of course, is the.
I will show you after the
Saiyans, and
podcast the
he's
fucking
just
clip
like,
because it's fucking hilarious. Like
yeah.
Goku's literally just stunned. He's just like. But
it's in that universe, the most strongest fighters in the world don't get laid. Just yes, it's virgins are the most strongest beings in the universe. Apparently, in that universe.
yeah, fucking Goku. Like, god dang, bro.
Yeah.
No, he's actually the dumbest person alive, really. But
well, yeah. He probably just thinks
no, he really
sex
is like
just intense cuddling.
he knows nothing. Like he just fights for fighting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
He just wants to be the strongest one. Like that's all his mindset is.
He's just thick-headed.
So, well, it's not just that. Like, think of it this way. So, this circle represents the entire knowledge of everything that we know, and Goku is, like if you go anything outside of that circle, that's when you endeavor to learn more about that certain subject. So, when you go to university, that bit of extra when you're going out of that bubble of that your known knowledge, that's when you're learning more about that certain subject. For Goku, it's just fighting.
Yeah.
And then he just doesn't know anything about anything else in that
Who
circle.
knows? He wants to fight everyone.
Yeah. And it's just up right here. It's up here. This fighting knowledge is like fucking massive.
And his fucking general knowledge is way down here. Like,
general knowledge is just like non-existent. Still in that bubble of knowledge, which isn't that much.
Like he thought farming was sitting in a tractor and doing nothing.
Yeah, but that's remember he was raised by the irony by perverted sex obsessed kung fu master.
But yet he complete opposite. Like
Yeah, but he knew about martial arts.
Actually, no. When he was a kid, he was reading Master Roshi's fucking naughty mags. Like, ooh.
Yeah. You'd think that it'd be well, maybe Goku is like a pervert. He just doesn't know anything.
Maybe he's like Master Roshi then, like, because he likes fighting too. Like,
maybe he just knows a lot about sex, but he's a freak in the sheets and a kung fu master.
He was just playing coy, like for everyone else around him.
Yeah, he just knows about 3 things in his life: fighting, eating, and fucking. And the fucking you just don't know about because it's just him and his missus just
fighting, food, and fingering.
Yeah. Him and Chi just keep it strictly in the bedroom, but they're freaks. But and then he just eats and fights, and that's it. That's all he can, because he would have that excess energy, right? To go at it.
Good stamina.
He's got good stamina, so Chi-Chi would be like loving it, but that'd be purely in the bedroom. So but that's probably gone into a little bit of Dragon Ball fan fiction there, if you know what I mean.
We can
Right.
leave that for another time.
Maybe it's a special swingers party and Bulma and
Oh,
Chi Chi get together
Bulma
and
and
bring.
Vegeta. Fucking
Yeah, they have
Chi and
special
Goku.
parties. Everyone puts their special.
keys
Everyone
in the
puts a
bowl.
keys in the bowl at parties. So
Everyone, bring your Dragon Balls.
yeah, put your Dragon Balls in the bowl
To be
and see who gets
fair,
a special number.
in Super, Bulma is a bit like that.
Yeah, so it's like Bulma and Chi Chi and Vegeta and Goku,
Oh.
and then who else? It would be like
Whis,
Krillin and who's he with?
Andrew.
18.
18, yeah.
18, they just put the keys in the bowl and see who.
It was
picks
weird
out the-
watching, because I just started Dragon Ball GT. It's weird seeing Krillin as an old man
Yeah, it was a little...
with the fucking grey moustache and like, bruh.
Oh yeah. He's like the dad. He's got dad.
Yeah, like he doesn't
He's got
fight at all. He's just there for like.
Yeah, he's the dad bod now. Dad bod, and it's just him.
Considering
and 18.
Goku's the oldest one there, like he's in the hundreds of years old.
Yeah,
That's weird.
he's Saiyan as well, so he's
Same as Vegeta, he's in the hundreds too. I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
Yeah. I think there was some kind of like, I remember someone explaining to me like the very end of Dragon Ball is like it's just like the universe dies and it's just Goku and
Yeah.
Vegeta and they're just buddies like living it out until the end of the
Oh,
universe.
so you haven't never seen Super then, like the continuation?
No.
Oh,
No,
it's so fucking good,
I
man.
haven't gotten around to it. There's so many things I want to see and do, but I always revert back to like the good old things. Like I'll go watch Demolition Man for the 5th time this week.
Oh.
You know,
I
something
mean,
like that.
what will say if you want to just fucking watch Super, it's not too long.
Yeah,
Only
yeah.
not 8 seasons, I think.
Yeah, I think I'm going back
Right.
to be watching Star Trek Enterprise
Oh, dang.
and Lower Decks. I was watching a bit of Lower Decks
Yep.
as well. Just
That looks
smashed
interesting,
out
that
the
Lower
first 2
Deck.
seasons. Lower Decks just replaces jokes with references and palms them off as jokes.
Oh.
That's what the beauty of Lower Decks is. If you're a huge Star Trek fan, you like instantly go, I know that reference, and it's like, okay, that's it's the culmination.
I was
Of
thinking
every single
Stargate then for a second.
Oh, Stargate! I
Go
did a
run off
rerun
with your
of-
Darth Vader.
rewatch it.
I mean, I think
Um,
Star Trek and Stargate's better than Star Wars, but
Star Wars has dropped the ball like so much lately.
where Stargate and Star Trek have just gone.
I don't want to even
Well,
dive
yes,
into those, right?
yeah.
Like, there's
It's
a
a
whole...
shame that there's no Stargate content anymore. I think the only
No,
thing that's coming
Atlantis
out
last on
Stargate
that.
wise is there's a game being released on PC, and it's more of like an
Oh yeah.
like a turn-based strategy game,
Mm.
and that's coming out very soon. From what I've heard,
That'd be interesting though.
But that's the only thing Stargate, which is a shame.
The show
They
was
keep
so
saying they
good.
can redo it or bring new stuff, but Star Trek has
knows?
been on like being constantly bringing out new stuff, and it's actually been
Expanding.
expanding it. I think it's been controversial, but the one that's actually been bringing it most like relevant and more entertaining than anything has been Lower Decks.
Yep.
The live action stuff is for me is so. And then going back to Star Wars, they've been dropping the ball. Mandalorian was great; it gave it the kick that it needed for a little bit.
Mm.
But after season 2, and then at the end of season 3, just seemed like that were just kind of like
Milky
grasping
Mookie.
straws,
Yeah.
or another best way to say it, they were reverting back to what made Star Wars shit again.
Oh fuck. Damn.
So it was kind of like when they kind of did the Star Wars, the last 3 episodes or last 3 movies,
Lost trilogy.
which was the last trilogy, which was so dismal.
The first movie was
Like-
better though, like that first one, that number 7.
Mm.
That was pretty
Yeah.
decent.
That was decent, but they kind of did the whole Mary Sue thing.
Yeah. We
and
have
then they
talked about
dropped
it
the
before.
bomb and went, "Oh, okay." Spoiler alert! It's like she's Palpatine's
Mm.
granddaughter or some shit like that. I'm like, what the fuck? Like
Ninja Ghost of a
seriously.
Skywalker. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
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 it's
and they
all
made
fucked.
Skywalker. They made
Like,
Luke
bruh.
Skywalker out
I
to be
did
like a decrepit old man, and I'm like, he's better than that. They fucking destroyed Luke Skywalker's character.
Yeah, well,
Even
Mark
he
Hamill
hates
hates
it.
it,
He
though, like-
hates it.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
hates
yeah.
it.
He hates it because he
We all
knows
know
what
it.
it should have been. They rushed that shit so hard. They fucking tried to pander so much in the bullshit. And then even the last season of Mandalorian, where they just like there was
Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Mandalorian,
mandatorily.
where they like it was kind of like why are they putting Jack Black and Lizzo in an episode? Like
Yeah, I know, it was
it's
weird.
nice to have the like the
Well, what they got
little,
to
you
do
know,
is
hey
Star
look,
Wars, you know.
yeah, it's kind of like
I mean, I
eh.
needed one season. One perfect season would have been good.
And it was good.
It wasn't about one Mandalorian. It was about all the Mandalorians, which was kind of good. Like it had its pros and cons, but at the same time, it seemed like they were reverting back to what made Star Wars shit again.
Yeah.
And for me, it was kind of like they were losing their touch.
Because they were getting to the point where they're weird, yeah. Because I guess they're thinking, oh no, we're gonna start losing our viewership. Let's try and do things to bring people.
That's
back
not a
in.
bad thing, though. Like, god dang.
And that's exactly it. Like, okay, you've done your run. Don't do gimmicks. That's the problem. You're doing gimmicks to try
Go
and keep
for
people
quality over quantity. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. And they were doing that the same thing. What was doing it? They were trying to do it quantity over quality. And that was the same thing with Marvel as
people
well.
just drop off faster that way. Like,
yeah, they were dropping shit fast, and you can tell. And it wasn't quality; it was quantity. And Marvel did the same thing, and that's biting them in the ass.
That's why I prefer DC shows because they got quality over quantity. Like,
and that's exactly what the whole shift around they're trying to redo is readjust their quality, because their quality was getting to a point where quality was becoming quantity, even though it was good.
I just hope James Gunn can like. DC is going to be bigger than Marvel soon with James Gunn there.
The first movie in the chain of Gunn movies was
Superman.
Blue Beetle. And Blue Beetle I haven't seen yet, and I can't.
No, that was done before him though.
But still it's still under that category. It's still part of that.
Under
the new division.
Next part.
I actually bought that, so I can watch it next week.
It's supposed to be okay.
I haven't seen it yet. I heard it's okay. There was apparently a few.
I think people were just weird about it because they had like new people. Like it was one of those weird.
We need new heroes. Like, stop giving us the same fucking ones over and over.
Same actors.
Well,
like, we need new.
Yeah, you won't get heroes. That's the thing. It's all the people that created new
heroes. James Gunn is bringing new things now, like with that Commando something. Commando Squad.
Not just that, it's like bringing in new actors as well, and people get very weird because new actors and new.
No, we're getting new heroes now. Like we're getting. What's that Commando one?
Well, we're getting heroes that have already existed. It's just we've never seen them in like.
We're
30,
seeing
40
comic
years
that we haven't seen on the screen to the screen now with James Gunn, which is what we need.
But
I'm sick of seeing Superman, Batman, always seen the last 30 years.
They recently announced fucking the cast for Fantastic Four. That looks interesting.
I hate that Pedro's Reed. It doesn't fit.
It's gonna be I don't know.
It doesn't fit. It does not fit.
It's hard to say because he did Joel pretty good. So
yeah, but not Mr. Fantastic.
Yeah, see, I don't know. I've grown up with a bit of Fantastic, and I reckon it might work because I'm a bit of a fan of Fantastic Four, and I've seen those different narratives of Mr. Fantastic.
Also, who the fuck playing Sue? Doesn't fit. None of them characters fit.
No, but they do though. That's the thing. Like they do actually fit. 100% they do actually fit.
Nah, they don't fit. I'm on Jim. They don't fit.
They don't.
I don't know. Like, see, I've grown up with a lot of Fantastic Four, and they do personally fit.
This is like that 2015 movie again. It's not gonna.
Yeah, exactly. The 2015 that did not fit. I was like, what the fuck are you doing right there? Are you like smoking? No, remember though, the reason why they did that Fantastic Four movie is just so they could retain the license.
That's what this movie is too, I think, as well.
No, it's not. This is a proper movie. This
is 10 years later, so.
Yeah, but that means Marvel's falling into the whole quantity, not quality thing again.
They are though.
No, they're not. With that, like the cast does not fit.
No,
the cast does not fit.
You see, I don't know. I reckon it's good casting. Me personally, I like the casting they've chosen. 100%.
Having Joseph Quinn as Human Torch? Nah.
Yeah, he's not bad.
Vanessa Kirby as Sue Storm?
Yeah. It
No.
works. It works. If you know the Fantastic Four characters, it works.
Yeah, but Vanessa Kirby, she plays bad guys, and now she's gonna be fucking Sue Storm.
Yeah. Like, these characters are like that. Like, these characters... Like, I've watched The Bear, and old mate playing the... he's fits it pretty well. Like, these will work. If they do the story right, it will work.
I'm
Like-
just pissed that they used fucking John Krasinski in the thing and killed him, and he was a better fit than Pedro.
I mean, he was good. That was good. Like, that was good. But it is...
Pedro's playing an afterthought. Like, that's all this is.
Oh, no, they had him, like, fairly lined up. Like,
The whole cast, I can't give a shit about.
I'd like to see a trailer, or at least a test screening. Or
Yeah.
mainly a trailer. I'd like to see them as those
Yeah.
characters.
that would be
Then
good.
I'll
But
make up my mind.
Well,
and
they're
then I'll-
still
and-
tossing up Doctor Doom as well, so...
Okay, if that
Pedro played
Doctor-
better
okay,
Doctor Doom.
So Doctor Doom is a very delicate character to be doing, in the sense that you have to get it right.
At the moment, the
it doesn't-
two that's
it doesn't-
Well, it's only
apparently...
a voice, really, that we have to
The
get
two
right.
they've spoken to, apparently the rumors that are going around that they've spoken to or something was Henry Cavill and
Ugh.
Cillian Murphy.
I
So
think
None of them.
Pedro Pascal would be better at
He-
Doctor Doom.
Definitely,
Yeah, he would.
I would have definitely, being Pedro, you're playing Dr. Pascal. I reckon that would have been pretty
Like, fuck
good as
off
well.
Reed Richards. Just change him now.
Yeah,
like,
But he
Not
does
as
kind of
Reed
have
Richards,
that.
I think he would be better at Doctor Doom.
Mm.
Yeah.
Because like I understand it's the we're covering his mask again. Oh no, but he does do good work with or without a mask.
Mm.
We've seen him in what is it, the Kingsman Statesman movie, that one. He was
That's why.
fantastic
That's
in
why I
that.
reckon though he would be pretty good at playing Mr.
Last of
Fantastic,
Us.
like Reed Richards. Like
No.
I
He doesn't have the right face for Reed
I-
Richards.
Yeah, he doesn't have. Maybe
it doesn't have to always be the face though. That's the
shave
thing.
the
It doesn't always have to be the
moustache
face.
off, yeah, he'll be good as Reed Richards, but I think also he might actually do way better as Doctor Doom.
Mm.
That's my opinion. He'll be way better as
But
Doctor Doom.
again,
I
it's
understand
a
the cliche covering his face, but he's an actor that doesn't need the face to be shown. He can
mm.
act through that mask, 100%. But Doctor Doom is a very challenging.
All you gotta do is
character
just
to play.
voice it. It doesn't have to be under the thing. Like, you can just
You're like
No,
the
no,
voice.
but
I
I don't want them to fall into the cliche of how Doctor Doom was portrayed previously, because it's complete opposite of what he is actually in the comic book.
it's like how was it Taskmaster?
Oh yeah, Taskmaster was fucking dismal.
That's how this movie's gonna go. Just that.
I don't
That's
know.
what I'm
I don't
afraid
know.
of.
I don't necessarily think it's going to be bad. I think it's going to be okay. Like it's.
I hate it when they try and do reimaginings of characters that are so already well established, but
Like-
all they're really doing is portraying their own ideas and calling it a reimagining because they just want their ideas put up on screen rather than
Like Marvel's
the
ruined a
original-
lot of
rather
characters
than
in
the
the last
original
5 years.
content. Yeah, because you're ruining the characters.
They ruined
that people much
Ant-Man.
love. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, as in, because
Yeah,
it's
see,
just
yes
the
and no,
writers
like, that's
putting their
hard
own
with Ant-Man,
selves
like,
in
that-
there and ruining
The
the
character
content.
isn't ruined. The character itself is Ant-Man's still Ant-Man. He's still.
And that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, but then you're getting the confusion of the movie and the character. Ant-Man as a
The
character.
movie's trash.
But
Yeah.
Ant-Man
But
character himself has been
Listen
great.
to what
Like,
you're saying. The movie is about the character, and the character is much.
no,
loved
but this last
from
one wasn't
comic
about
book
him
to
though.
a
This
movie.
last Ant-Man wasn't about Ant-Man. It was about his daughter. It was about
Oh,
her
yeah,
character.
yeah, I know that.
Like that was about
It was-
that, and that was the problem. It was that last movie. Okay, it was called Ant-Man Quantumania, but the main Ant-Man was literally the smallest B side character of that movie. Like he,
Oh, yeah,
MODOK
he
took the
was-
start of it.
it was the daughter, MODOK, and Kang. Kang the
That was
like, they were the three it was based on. It was based on those.
Yeah, I
It
know.
was,
But
you know,
it's funny how MODOK was like also a minute character.
like they
in
fucked
that.
his, they
It was like
changed
a
his
foot-
character
no.
completely. Like they changed
Oh,
his
yeah.
character completely.
But the thing that I'm saying is because they keep constantly changing characters, and it's not even like for the
That's what
sake of
Fantastic Four is gonna be,
making
man. Like we just know it.
better.
Well, they've
they
kept the characters
purely
the same
do
though.
it
Like I don't know, I don't know why you why do you think it's going to be bad? Like that's what I want to know. Like why do you think it's going to be bad? Like,
Because movies in the last 5 or so years, if
yeah,
not more,
there's
because
that, of course,
writers
but
place themselves in these movies
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
writers and portray their own political
political- yeah, yeah.
agendas, and also place their own writing in there, which isn't even based on the character that they're writing about, purely because they want to put footnote themselves in there, and basically has an
Wait, who's actually
massive
writing this thing?
ego.
That's what I mean. That's what you want to be
That they
looking at,
should
because
Which is
again,
why
if you
I
look at
understand why.
image so far, it looks like it's not a current universe Fantastic Four for one, because the art style they use for that promotion of the Happy Valentine's Day, from the thing, that looked like it was set in like the 70s or 80s. Like, it looks like an older version of Fantastic Four.
Yeah, okay.
Like,
I
it's,
understand. That
you know what I
they're
mean?
going for
Because
that-
like
that- the
they're
whole-
going back in time, like they're not part of the current period. So it's again different timeline, even an older version. Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah. But the fact that
but
I'm
we
saying,
are traditional. Like they're going back to traditional style of Fantastic Four characters, where like
but
Johnny
the thing that I'm
Storm.
saying,
Johnny
it
Storm
does-
is Sue Storm's brother. Like they're not
Yeah,
adopted. Like they're
yeah.
actually blood related.
Yeah,
they didn't.
yeah,
It's
they're
not the
blood
later
related.
version where it was changed
I
and
know
they were,
this, which is why the last one was kind of like,
because
what
they
the
went with
fuck
that
are you
arc. They went with
saying
that
about
arc of the
adoption?
comic where he was the adopted brother, and he was, that I never liked. I was never a fan of that
No one
genre
liked
of.
that because they just tried to fucking shoehorn the fact that it's like, oh, let's just make the guy black, and it's
Because
like,
that was a comic
yeah,
book. That was
okay.
one of the comic
Oh,
books.
how are we gonna do that?
But it was
let's
shit.
just make
Like
him
I
adopted.
never liked that arc
Like,
of the
why?
comic books. Like that
Like-
comic book series was just, in my opinion, was just bad. Like I didn't like that series of the comics. Like when they wrote that and did that they changed it up, and they're like, oh, he's adopted, and we're going to go with this arc because let's make
got a year to
adoption.
find out.
Let's
so
make
fuck.
adoption.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
all it was like the whole thing
It's
that happened with these
still
characters was like,
Yeah,
let's
yeah.
make adopting characters cool. Let's make this really cool. It's like, okay, like, but you're doing it in such a shitty way of
but it
adopting all these
seemed-
characters and
seemed
changing
like
everything.
in a cop out. It seemed like in that situation it was such a cop out of kind of
And it was
just
an
going,
excuse to be
let's
like,
just do it.
let's go partly,
Let's just
let's change the color of these characters. So this is our excuse being like, we can't write anything better, so because we want to make Johnny Storm a darker skinned character, let's just make him adopted. It's like you couldn't come up with anything better than that. Like, that was your easiest, latest
which
excuse,
shows that like it's
You couldn't just make literally, why don't you just change
That's
Sue
totally lazy
Storm?
writing.
Why don't you just change Sue Storm and Johnny
lazy
Storm to
writing.
literally be dark skin? Like, make them both, like, and it's just,
it's
like,
lazy writing. It's fucking lazy writing.
change
as
them
Jim
all,
said. And
like,
that's the thing that's happening though with a lot
That's
of
Marvel the
movies.
last 6,
it
7 years.
seems
Like,
lazy,
yeah,
yeah.
5
exactly.
years.
Lazy
years.
writing,
Like,
which
I
is
can-
why I'm kind of like understanding where studios are coming from. It's like if the writing is so fucking lazy in the last 6 or 7 years, when movies where it's like, oh wow, they're actually doing that. It's just
like, that's the thing,
why
'cause
not let
it's-
AI start
it's-
writing scripts?
it's
'Cause
tricky,
at
Can
because-
we
least
let
it's a-
the people who write like Oppenheimer and that make a Marvel movie for fuck's sake?
Well, people that write Oppenheimer are not going to write a Marvel movie.
No, because they
That's
got
the
more
thing.
common sense.
'Cause they
But
got
like,
more, well, like, they got more creative juices behind them. Creative, like.
Well,
like,
you've
like,
seen.
competent-
I
more
recently watched that
competent
video.
at their
because Marvel
job.
is cookie cutter, copy and paste.
Well,
like,
not even. Well, there's that, and not that, because like I recently watched a behind the things thing on, like, it was on YouTube, talking about these writers that are working at Marvel. Like, thankfully some stuff have been good. Like Moon Knight was good. That Echo series was fucking phenomenal. Like, there's some.
Yeah,
there are some
good
gems.
writers. It's just there's also
But
other factors.
The
in it
no,
that
the
just
biggest
make it
factor of that's in the problem. This is from Disney's Marvel Disney side of thing, is they get these writers to write these things. They don't allow them, and then somehow, how are you supposed to have a universe where this movie is related to this movie, but let's not have this writer talk to this writer, so they know what's going on over here and what's going on over here, and make them related. They go, no,
I mean,
let's
this
just not talk.
Fantastic Four is going to be
Like,
not related to anything.
it exactly
That's
isn't. It's set in the
understandable,
80s.
but
It's like,
At the same time, there also needs to be
There's
no
different writers.
political agendas in their
Yeah.
writing. Which the thing they just seem to do is they
Well, that
kind of
was
stick
was
to
definitely
kind
like
of-
a big thing in like She-Hulk. Like She-Hulk definitely had like an agenda being pushed in that.
yeah,
like,
if there's an agenda in it,
Hawkeye-
get them the
That's
fuck
trash.
out of there. because
Hawkeye
it's just
kind of felt like
don't
it had an
push-
agenda running in that. Like, I liked a lot of shows, but my favorite ones
Oh
at
no,
most were
Hawkeye
Moon
was
Knight.
fantastic.
Moon Knight was good.
There
Echo was fucking great. Like, Echo had a slight agenda being pushed, but that was the Native American. Like, that was actually pushing a tradition. Like that was actually
Yeah.
writing in a
I mean,
cultural tradition. Like that
Yeah,
was
yeah.
done a proper way of pushing
I just
kind of an
just
agenda
don't
because it was
like
trying to
when
be, you know.
I
And
just
Echo was
don't like
great.
it when they deviate from the comics to the point where
It's,
basically they've
it's not hard to follow
rewritten.
the comics, like really
Yeah, yeah.
isn't.
But that's the thing. Like these writers were not allowed to pick up a comic. Weren't allowed when they were writing their stories watch any other Marvel movie. They
That
were not
means
allowed to
Disney,
talk.
Marvel are fucked because
They
if they can't do that,
wanted the
I see why
writers.
James Gunn left.
They wanted the writers to come up with their own original ideas and not be influenced by any other input.
But then they're gonna be so
think
different
that's-
from movie
Yeah,
to movie. Like what the
exactly.
fuck?
Like
Okay, so with that, a common sense for it would be like,
how are you
as-
supposed to
as
connect
a-
these things? That's why we have these
Why? Like their own
like the
original
continuity is
They
bugged.
need 10 writers in one room and just plan everything out at
Yeah.
once, so it's all fucking cohesive.
Yeah, that's why the continuity.
Okay,
That's why.
so here's the thing. Here's the thing, though. When they say that it's supposed to be their
Bruh.
original thoughts,
Hmm.
everything that has ever been fucking done
Has
has
been done.
already
Yeah.
been done.
But that's
And they
why.
need to come from a reference. And when they should be reading the comics
Yeah.
for references, because when people do breakdowns of these series, they'll go, "Oh, it's from this comic."
But that's
"Oh, it's
why,
from
like,
this comic."
that's why we had
And
that
that's
Spider-Man
where
issue.
does
the
that well.
And
Yeah,
you need
and
to
that's
have
why-
those references in there for order the fans to love it. You
That's-
do not have a writer that goes original content from there and have it
Yeah.
right. It does not fucking make sense.
Yeah.
It is fucking
That's what I'm saying.
idiotic.
There's
They
key
need
points
to have all
they've
that
given them. There's
information
key
and
points they
access.
must have given them to like put in like make sure you have these details. But that's why when you look at it, you have like Shang-Chi showed off the 10 rings, had this whole thing, and then you have Eternals randomly mention the 10 rings at the end of the movie. Like they're trying to set something up. But if you don't watch that movie or know to watch that movie, you wouldn't know the advanced history of the 10 rings.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or the Sentinel, like
but
the
I'm just
Celestials.
saying
Like,
it
if you don't
makes-
know, there's no communication going. Okay, we're gonna set
I
this
think
up.
the
Kind of
moves
get
are
you
out
to
of
watch
order
the movies.
because that
Yeah.
should have come first.
That was like
does
say
not
with
make sense
Quantumania.
by
Quantumania
telling
made no
your
sense.
writers
Like
to not do research.
I
and we'll
watched that
watch other movies.
that
It
Ant-Man
does not
Quantumania.
make sense.
that
This is
Ant-Man
fucking
Quantumania.
retarded.
I watched
I'm
that,
using
right?
that word.
Wookie, like I watched Ant-Man Quantumania.
Yeah.
Made no fucking sense. It was the weirdest movie. I watched Loki 1 and 2, like season 1 and 2. Came back, watched Quantumania. Then Quantumania made sense. I shouldn't
a
have
shit
to
way of
watch
doing it,
Loki. That's what I'm saying. I
Yeah.
shouldn't have to go watch Loki to then come back to be around like, oh, I'm going to give Quantumania a second go.
They
Yeah.
put
And then
the
it
story
made
behind
sense.
the paywall.
Like it made sense.
But
Like
the
what
thing
the
that-
fuck are you
that
doing? Like that's
Disney.
in my
just
mind is that these writers aren't allowed to talk
Dicks.
to each other.
yeah,
and
to
aren't
share the
allowed to read
ideas.
the comic books or read Marvel.
Because
any of the
like
comic
literally, you
books
watch
or-
the video, they will say, "I've never read the comics. I didn't watch this movie. I was," and there's some of them which he said, "I was not allowed to read any other material based on these characters."
Have they realized the best content is because look at the first two Deadpools,
Yeah, source
Yeah,
material.
that's
The-
source
the
material.
Wolverine X-Men
Yeah.
movies, Logan,
I
like
don't know why they told him not to
DC
do
stuff.
That. That is the most
Yeah.
stupid, idiotic
Yep.
fucking thing they can ever say.
And then
to
don't even. I haven't even watched this yet,
If
but
they're
but
using
you
that as an excuse,
have you
that's the most
seen the
excuse
stuff coming
ever
out? And this
fucking
is
said.
the worst part. This is Sony. Have you seen the stuff
Yeah.
coming out from the Madam Web?
oh yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
The
Have you heard
worst
story of the guy
fucking
jerking it?
Spider-Man movie ever. It's worse than friggin'. It's gotten lower scores than fucking Morbius did.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like,
But did
it's
you did you
shit.
hear about the guy that was apparently masturbating in
No.
the
The
screening?
fuck?
In the
Oh,
screen.
God.
So there's the Sydney Sweeney that's in it, right? And
Yeah,
she
yeah.
plays one of the Spider Women.
Yeah.
And apparently, what I've heard that during one of the early screenings of it, this guy was kicked out because he was caught masturbating to Sydney Sweeney in
Fuck's
her
sake.
Spider Girl outfit during
Oh,
that screening.
God.
And I'm just like, oh shit, that's fucking
Oh.
hilarious.
That is
They
God.
get the balls to do it, but like,
you were-
why?
yeah,
That's
yeah, if
disgusting
you
as
were in a-
shit.
If you're in a pre-screening of that film and watching and going, oh yeah, this is pretty good, and then fucking Sydney Sweeney cops up in a Spider Girl outfit and just goes, this movie
Fuck
is
it.
so good, I'm going
Fuck
to
it.
start masturbating in the cinema with everyone else here. Fuck it, why not? And just
You know,
and then get booted out for it. If I was like the people that made the movie, it'd be like, all right, it is not what we were going to achieve, but at the same time, that's also fucking good. That's also winning
Yeah.
at the same time.
Like it is
because
so bad.
it-
It's so
it's
weird.
It would make me want to go see the movie to see how good
Oh,
she
I
looks in
kind
it
of want. That's it. I
because
kind of want to see it, see how
directed-
bad it is, but I kind of don't want to go and spend money on it. Like,
Yeah, and I know Sydney
Oh.
Sweeney is pretty damn hot, so I would
Mm.
actually go see that movie now just to see what she looks like in a Spider Girl outfit now. It's not to say that I would crank it in the theater. That's a bit awkward.
Yeah, that's
But again, that's another movie that's
just a
pushing an
footnote.
agenda, like because they literally fucked up the storyline. It was meant to be one.
Oh,
it was meant to be part of Andrew Garfield's movie prequel. Then they scrapped that. Then it's kind of meant to be part of Tom Holland's thing, and then I think they've scrapped that. It's like make up your mind. Whose prequel story
well,
okay.
is
So
it?
the movie's just
so-
boring. So,
Yeah.
Don't they have
It's
Uncle
one of the
Ben
longest.
in it?
There's
I know
a,
they've got
Uncle
Ben
Ben.
in there.
There's Peter's parents as well.
Yeah, Peter Pan's as well, and it's supposed to be like it's like
It's pre.
before Peter Parker. Yeah, it's pre.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
this is a
apparently
long
we-
time before because
Apparently we get.
Benny-
Apparently
Ben's
we get.
young, like
We get baby Peter in this. So.
like in his 30s or
Yeah,
40s.
yeah.
Like, goddamn.
Yeah. so-
during it, his parents, like his mum's pregnant with Peter in this movie.
Yeah. So
So-
it's kind of like part of the Madam Web has always had a particular perception in the Spider Universe.
Yeah,
so
but how they've done this.
her
is the
when
wrong...
she's younger, and then when she gets older, between that time she gets older, she loses her vision. She can
Yeah.
see the future. She can apparently travel between dimensions, all that kind of shit. Which kind of makes sense. If you watch some of the breakdowns, you'll kind of
Yeah.
understand where it's coming from. So it is what it is. I'll watch it purely because it's like one of the last Sony.
I'll make sure I have my
Marvel
Yeah.
pants off when I watch it.
I'll make sure to keep my pants on when I'm watching it.
I mean, this
Um,
fucking last Spider-Man movies were no fucking good movie either. To be fair,
What?
Nothing-
The
nothing-
crossover one?
yeah,
Yeah, Jim didn't like it apparently.
Like, it was
liked
good that Toby and that was in there, but it was like there's a lot of boring bits.
I liked it because it had a lot of references,
Hmm.
and I like it when they have a lot of references to either comic books or other movies,
Yeah,
because it makes you want to go back to watching those movies,
yeah.
which is like I like the fact that it gives you those those feelings back of what you experienced with those prior movies. And
I mean, Toby was the best part of that movie
well,
because
not just that. I like watching certain comics as well, comic movies, because it refers back to what I
Yeah.
felt and when I
Nostalgia.
experienced when reading those comics. And that's
The
the thing that
nostalgia.
shits me off is when they get writers that try and put their own shit in there, where basically they have a massive library of things that they can use and put in there. I understand that some writers go, well, why do I want to put in stuff that's already been done? ... Why am I just getting someone else's material and putting in there and bringing it to life? I should be using my stuff because I'm a creative writer. I went to school for being a
Yeah, see,
writer.
I don't
and
see.
all
Like,
that
I would
bullshit.
happily write because it's already there. So you've taken half the load off your back. Then you just got to write a story interpreting what's already there and have them come
Yeah,
up. You know
exactly.
what I mean? Like,
You're writing if you want to do your own shit, grab what they've done, but write it in a
I
certain
mean,
way.
I don't want comic stories. I want fresh new stories, but have the same
understand that.
character.
yeah, but that's what
Yeah,
they're basically
Like, don't
giving.
change the character though. Like
That's what they're trying to give, but at the same time they ruin
they
it
change
by
the
trying to
characters,
put
though.
in
It just
political
fucks
agendas in there as well. Like, I understand one thing is updating it for like when you update it for a modern audience and grab like an older story and kind of saying like, let's not have certain words in there like he was a communist or something like that. Let's just say he was this. That's great. When you're modernizing and updating stuff,
Yeah,
it's
well,
like half the job's done for you, and you're literally getting paid to update something,
so
which is great.
And this is
If you
why
wanna do your own
Oppenheimer was my
original
movie of the year
content,
last year.
also the new
They
X
didn't
Men.
give a shit what was in there.
The new X Men rebooted cartoon series, X Men '97, got rid of Rogue's ass.
Nah,
She
not
don't-
watching it.
She ain't got a curved booty anymore. She got flat ass.
Yeah, nah, I want that curved booty. That's not modernizing it. That's just fucking...
That's modern or political correctness.
No.
Uh,
Whatever it is.
No, bring back that thick ass booty,
That's what
man.
I'm saying. They're going with the political wokeness.
That's not political wokeness. That's just purely just being assholes.
Like, she ain't
Yeah.
got that thick booty. Oh, you can't sexualize characters and kind of.
Oh, you can't sexualize characters, blah, blah, blah. It's like, it's not my fault that you're not sexy yourself.
But we've gone on a massive fucking tangent. Jim, what did you have? I want to know what you have. You went on a tangent. Went too long.
They're just putting what
Give
they
me a
don't
drink,
want because
alright?
Come back to Marvel. I didn't
the
want to
thing.
come back to Marvel. We have too much Marvel bullshit going on in
We
this.
always come back to Marvel when we're on for some reason. Back to comic books and how much I fucking despise writers that put in their own political agendas and
Yeah, it happens with
try and
everything
create
though.
something new out of something that they should just already be.
But what do
just
you
putting
got?
shit in first?
I want to see what he's got. Stop putting your agenda into.
Yeah, I hate agendas when I should put in my own agendas for. It's yeah.
But I did grab I kind of double dipped as
Yeah. Yep. Space
Nice,
Marine.
nice.
Space Marine, but I'm
Nice,
pissed
nice.
off.
It's broken
Oh
case.
no.
I don't know if
Cool.
that wasn't in the post because it's a whole different game. But I said it had MA, not 18. So, but how cool is that thing I sent you, the Piggy 18 guy?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like,
It was funny. It was
the
funny
dude's
'cause
real.
I seen him a couple of days ago, and it was funny that you sent it to me because I follow him on TikTok. I was like, oh, he's the Peggy 18. Yeah, I was like, Peggy 18 because I'd already seen it. I was like, oh.
I'm like, bruh.
There's a lot of
I
stuff that
thought
you
the
send
dude
me.
was fake,
There's a
like
lot
he-
of stuff, yeah, because there's a lot of stuff that you send me that I've already seen on TikTok, but I don't send it to you because it's TikTok. So I'm like, I can't send Jim this because he doesn't have TikTok, and then you'll send it to me later on like Instagram or something. It's like I've already seen that like a week ago.
And this one is what Wookie would have liked, but the Incredible Hulk game on the 360, which apparently this game is fucking good. So
Yeah, that's the
Don't
other
get
one.
me wrong. Some of those Marvel games were actually not that bad, and they actually had a lot of content from the video of comic books
Yeah.
put in there.
this is one of them.
Saying that, like the only reason Marvel games have dipped so much now is because they did that big Marvel, Avengers game that was the AAA, and that dropped so hard because of microtransactions put in there, and for the fact
And the
that
fact that the gameplay was fucking boring as bad shit.
not just that, and also people were pretty shitty about the likenesses of the characters.
Yeah, because
They
they
weren't
wanted
reflected into the Marvel
the
DC
dodgy knockoffs.
movie
Yeah.
universe. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're like the Wish version of
It's either
of,
commit to having the
Marvel
likeness or not
and-
commit. And that was the issue. It's like they tried
There
to.
was-
like the way Marvel's Midnight Suns did it, that was amazing. Like,
It's like if
like,
you just make your own
um,
character.
Oh yeah,
don't make-
Midnight Suns made it back. Midnight Suns kind of.
although
like,
they made Tony Stark sound like Robert Downey Jr., but I'm okay with that. But it was weird.
yeah, they made.
Although
made it-
like
made it up.
he looks like Howard Stark, but sounds like Tony Stark. But he got a moustache.
It's better than nothing.
But hey, I didn't care.
Better than the dodgy one.
And the next one was on the PS3, but Eat Lead, Return to Matt
Oh.
Hazard. I'm like, this game's fucking amazing.
It was a good
Oh,
game.
that's an oldie.
Gameplay is a bit fucked. Like the shooting is just. I've died so many times because you can't aim for shit on this game, but
Yeah, because some of the
But-
game types are weird.
it's amazing. Third-person shooter, amazing.
I like Eat Lead.
I fucking love it. You got Will Arnett playing Matt Hazard, like, bro. What's not to like about that? Him just quipping everywhere. Boss fights at a QTEs. I'm like, this is cool. Can more boss fights be QTEs? Because it's just a cool action
Just immerse,
cinematic
yeah.
thing.
Just don't make it over. Yeah.
Everyone should be playing that. The fact that we didn't get a release here, all ours are from Europe, and they just covered it with a fucking sticker, which this one didn't have. Yours have a sticker, I reckon. Because a lot of games we get here have stickers because they didn't release here,
Yeah.
and from
Yeah,
the
16
European region.
The Return of Matt Hazard.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah,
wait.
because we never had a release here.
Just remembered. Do you have Time Splitters?
No.
You ever played Time Splitters?
Yes.
When I was a little kid.
That's a classic game from back in the day. You ever played The Darkness?
Jim has recently.
I just platinum that on the PS3. Yeah, the
Yeah,
Darkness.
Darkness
2.
and Black.
Yes.
Darkness 2 is better than Darkness 1, like by far.
Oh yeah. But yeah, you
Darkness
played-
1 played it way safe.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, but you know that's based on a comic, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've got that comic.
Apparently the comics
Fantastic.
takes it way further. I was like,
Oh
bro.
yeah. Way very dark, very Punisher.
Yeah, like the games are in a fun way, but the comics are like, huh, that's fucked up.
Oh yeah, 100%. And then there was
Where?
Black as well, which was from 2006.
Hmm.
That was a good. That was
Black
an
was good.
FPS game.
Those
Um,
controls are
Had
fucked.
some good
yeah,
physics in there.
Yeah,
I
good
played that
Had like crisis
recently.
physics.
It was on Game Pass or something. Those controls are fucking retarded on Black. I'm like, how
Yeah,
did I
just
play
like
this? No,
why is
they're
L1
worse.
sprint?
It's the controls are that retarded. It's like I had to use the fucking symbols as the fucking look buttons. It's like, what the fuck is this?
Oh yeah, like PS1 and
Like,
like
but it had a dual
right.
it was on 360 oh no, Xbox One, which had the fucking
Yeah, but the developers made it that way.
oh, I don't
But
remember
I've
how I
got
played
Space
it.
Marine
Space
on the
Marine.
PS3.
Space
I
Marine.
did double dip, and I bought the other one again because I wanted the proper one and a
Yeah.
not broken case. And this one here launched on PC 2 years ago, I think. Yes, Space Marine.
Space
Yeah,
Marine.
Space Marine.
The second one comes out in September. Been a
Hmm.
long time. Like that sequel's a long time coming.
Oh yeah, but still, it's
Oh,
fantastic
It's
gameplay.
worth it.
I never
Yeah,
looked at that.
It's
Your elite passcode is on the back. I'm like,
so
oh.
Warhammer is kind of like you don't know about it unless you know about it. If you know what I mean.
And that universe is
In
fucking
that universe.
huge.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
So
Because I've got Necromunda hired gun. That's a Warhammer game. It's like,
Yep.
this
but
is
you
just
wouldn't
the
know
games,
that.
bro.
Yep.
So Warhammer, like Games Workshop, in the last 3 years, have been pumping out 3 or 4 years, have been pumping out the video games for their universe.
Oh yeah.
And they're
So they've
fucking
been
good. Like,
yeah, no, they've been doing fantastic. It's been true to what's actually in the content. They're not deviating or putting anything in. So they grab that universe, they grab a chunk of that universe, and they
and
make
make
a
it
game about
fun.
it. And make it fun. All they do is grab the original content that's done for it. They take like a big chunk for it, grab that chunk out and make it into a video game. There's no interpretation. There's no political fucking agenda. It's they literally just grab the facts from there and they make their own dialogue and that's it. And they just create a story that's in that universe. And there's no like
Because
there's
they put
no
out
political
Bolt Gun. That
agenda.
game
There's
looks
none of
fun
this
as fuck.
bullshit. They just make it fun, and that's what they've been doing with the games in the last 3 or 4 years. Like Vermintide and stuff like that. And it's literally doing that universe, and they've been doing a great job. Not just in the games, they've been doing the same thing with that. They actually have a streaming service. So the streaming service has, a bunch of stuff like, videos of their board games, tabletops, streaming, all that kind of stuff. And and the thing they've been doing lately also is, how they're talking about Henry Cavill's doing the Warhammer movie live action.
Yeah.
And not
Oh,
just that, they've
I'm
been
keen.
doing a fantastic job doing the Warhammer animation. So there's a series that's on it called Hammer and Bolter.
Yep.
And it takes a lot of the full Warhammer 40k stuff and doing short stories of stuff in the Warhammer 40k. And they'll use everything
That's
from all
interesting.
the races. If you go on the YouTube and check out Hammer and Bolter, there's some fantastic animation in there. And it
Because
just
I'm
takes
not into the whole tabletop. I don't do that. But I'll do the
no.
games.
That's
I'll
the
do.
thing. They grab all the story, the baseline story from all the tabletop, and they create their own stories, and they make
for people who
animated.
don't do the tabletop, who don't want to, and
Well, if you like the whole concept of the orcs or the races like the Tau and the humans and all that kind of stuff, they grab the fundamentals of it and create their own stories, and they've been doing that. Go on the YouTube and check out Hammer and Bolter. It's from their streaming service. People have been doing some small clips of it. You can get some stuff for it, but if you do get a chance, you got some extra money, sign up to their service, even just for a month, just to try it out and just check out the animation that they've got. It's if you enjoyed, even if you've read some of the codexes for Warhammer and kind of get a grasp of it, they normally grab stuff from there and bring it to life, and it's fucking fantastic. Like just some of the stuff, there's some commentary videos on there, and they actually show the whole episodes. Just they break it down, put commentary and context for it. But yeah, it's fantastic. If you've enjoyed even a little bit of the Warhammer 40k universe, they're doing that, and I'm pretty sure they're probably going to do the
It's
same
such
thing.
a
with just
it's a good
normal.
universe, like it really is.
Oh yeah, yeah. You don't have to be just a fan of the tabletop aspect. They're expanding it out so everyone can enjoy different aspects. Even if they like the universe but they've never played the game, they can go off and watch these animated series. And that's what they're doing.
Yep.
For years, they've been focusing on the books and the codexes, and that's one great form of media for it. And now they're doing it for the video games. They've been doing it for so long, but now they're pumping them out and making it even more fun. And now they've gone into the streaming services.
Yeah.
And then they're doing that. And obviously, because they've got people behind it now, like Henry Cavill, now they're trying to venture off into live action, and I reckon they're going to do a fantastic job.
And at least they won't fuck him over with the fucking story in the movie either. Like, you know,
Yeah,
like The
100%.
Witcher. And...
That's why I'm pissed off about things like Witcher, where they put
Because that's
when the
written
writers-
all by them, isn't it? Like, it's just
The
in
writing,
house.
Oh, yeah,
They make
yeah.
the. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, that's why I was pissed
But,
off.
but
about
they'll get someone else to
Witcher.
make it, but they'll just write all the stuff for it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
just give
so
them a, give
I
them a
might
base
post some
guide.
stuff into the Discord for Hammer and
yep.
Bolter.
What do you got there, Jim? What do you got, by the way? What do you? I see you waving something around.
Yeah, this has been on PC for a while, but I grabbed Teardown
Oh, yep.
physically because this game's too good not to get. Like,
Yes, I've played a bit of it.
this game's pretty fucking good. Like, I played it a little bit, like maybe half hour, just doing a couple missions.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Oh, yeah.
What's this
I was like blowing shit up,
Right.
yeah.
knocking shit down.
Show
And it's
me-
only
show me-
7 gigabytes.
Show me
Yeah,
the
that's
cover
something.
again. Oh,
Like, that's fucking small.
Jim, can you show me the cover again for that?
Tear down.
So we'll see. Tear down. Ah, yeah.
Yeah, by Tuxedo Labs and Saber.
Yeah, I just want to see it.
Saber's name's on everything now. Like, it's on the Tomb Raider remasters. It's on. I'm like, this all must be under Embracer because
Yeah,
Saber is under Embracer.
Yeah.
But still, even if a game like this can get physical,
I
come
do
on,
want to
Remedy.
get close
Epic.
to. I do want to get close to wrapping this episode up. Have we got anything else there? By the way, too, Jim. We got.
I grabbed Final Fantasy 7 Intergrade PS5 version of the remake. Got it for like $40 from EB.
That's
Like,
not bad.
boy, because I want to play Rebirth, so I got to do this first and then play Rebirth,
Yes.
and then I got to buy a 7 on the PS5, the Pixel one, to play that to compare.
Yep.
Because apparently they changed a lot.
Oh,
I
it's a
kept
big
it
difference,
faithful,
yeah.
but they've expanded on some things.
Yeah, reimagined a
I'm
lot
like,
of the moments.
I'm keen because I played that when I was like yay fucking high, so I don't remember
Yeah.
none of it. But playing this just fresh and then Rebirth.
I feel like
keen.
definitely feel like they are two different games. Like it's the same.
What, the original and the remake?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's so
Well, the original's turn-based combat. This is just open combat. Like,
different interpretation.
just that alone's a big change. Like,
Yeah, because we're just over 2 hours now, so I do want to start wrapping this up. I did want to try out the these little question doohickeys I was thinking that I wrote down here.
oh yes.
That I've got. I want to see what you guys think. I want to test them out on Wookie, our guinea pig. So I got a few questions here, so we'll see, because this is like sticking to our genre of what we do. So one of the questions I had was, what was your childhood video game growing up? What was your...
On PC it was Fallout 1 and 2.
Fallout 2. Okay, and this is why. So this is a follow-up question I wanted to do, which is I already know this answer that it kind of does. Is, has this video game influenced your life?
Yes.
So like I was like, that's what I wanted to see, because I feel like these are the questions like I want to think of, because like I feel like the media we surround ourselves with does kind of hold on our lives a little bit, like it, or take it like in that direction almost.
yeah.
Like we surround those things that we like, we love, you know, and we keep those, you know. So that's what I was like.
I mean,
intrigued by the
literally
question.
surrounded by it. Like,
Yeah, and that's what I was intrigued by the question. I was like, okay, this question I want to like expand on that. I'm like, okay, it does. So, that kind of works. I want to break those questions down maybe a little bit more, or expand on that a little bit. And then another one was like, you know, a curveball. Well, not really curveball. It's like, what 3 movies would you recommend?
Demolition Man, Castle of Cagliostro, which is also named Lupin the Third, Castle of Cagliostro.
Yep.
And ah, it's hard to choose a third one, but maybe uh, totally. That's the thing. It totally depends on what you mean, like recommended, because I'm a huge movie buff as well. So, like, you
The
could
very
say,
top three, like that kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah, like
what's some
Die
recommendations
Hard,
if you want
probably.
someone to watch
Like
right
someone
now?
who's
Like,
never seen a movie before, what would
Yeah.
you like 3 movies that you actually give someone
yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, let's
who's
let's
never
go.
watched one ever? Like,
Well,
or yeah.
that's the thing. It's kind of like if you've never watched anime before.
At this
I could
point
say
in time, yeah,
Naruto.
what would you recommend? Like, what 3 movies if you?
And if I had to
Mm.
choose 3 movies randomly that I'd
Yeah.
probably recommend watching, probably the last one, Buckaroo Banzai and the fourth dimension. No, sorry, fifth dimension.
Yep.
Yeah, so Buckaroo
So I'll
Banzai.
definitely like work out that question a little bit better.
yeah.
It's if you had to choose a genre,
And
of
it is a
Yeah,
hard
movie,
one
basically.
though,
like
like
movie,
really.
if you said movies of all time, I'd probably say something like
That's why I
yeah,
want to work out the
Demolition Man,
phrasing. That's
like
why I
Die
wanted to try
Hard.
these questions, and then like I can reword them so when I read these questions out, it makes a bit more sense. Like how I've said, like what would you what would you recommend? Like 3 movies you would recommend right now. Like what 3 movies if someone you know that
Yeah,
makes sense. That would be
but
the
if
three.
I had to if I had to change it a little bit, it would be like Die Hard, yeah, Castle of Cagliostro, and
Because like I said, I'm still trying to figure out
it's a
like
mix up of Buckaroo Banzai or They Live.
Yep.
And They Live is the one with the
aliens.
Isn't that Kurt Russell?
No, it's
Rowdy Roddy Piper movie.
yeah,
So
Oh,
it's the
the glasses.
it's basically showing where he finds the glasses and he gets to see the aliens that have actually invaded and with using consumerism and all that
I've been
sort of
thinking
stuff.
about grabbing that.
It's a good movie.
It's
Definitely grab it.
it's a fantastic movie and the fight scene in that is fantastic.
Because it hit 4K, and I'm like, I've never seen this. I might pick it up.
And there's some fantastic. There's like 2 Rowdy Roddy Piper movies I say
Hmm.
you should always watch. One is They Live, and the other one is Hell Goes to Frogtown.
Yep.
And mainly purely because it is just pure 80s ridiculousness. So it's Rowdy Roddy Piper that he's forced to
It's still
roam
not.
the wasteland, wearing a chastity belt.
These two
and he's
questions I don't feel.
fighting
It's-
mutants.
Those 2 questions I think I'm going to take out. There's 2 questions here I'm going to take out. One I thought which was kind of funny was a question that I thought that I was looking at questions to ask people was, what's an insult you've received that you're proud of?
I don't listen to insults. That's the thing.
Yep.
If someone insults me, I just go, yeah, whatever.
And see
and
this
just
then
forget
this
about
here in
it
its
because-
own, like you just said, creates an answer that you've given a different interpretation on. You know what I mean? Like it kind of almost explains a person.
everything's a learning experience because if
Yeah.
like whatever that you learn or experience from other people,
That one.
you know that it's either coming from like a background of there's something really wrong with them. So
Yep.
it's not it's like you're not the issue. It's really that deep down they have an issue. So
So I'm
if they're
very that's
insulting
I was
someone,
like that one I'm very see the first story would make sense for us. That one I'm kind of intrigued by because I'm always intrigued by like what someone would answer with. Like, proud of it. I know because I read that and I was like, that's kind of an intriguing question.
well, it's like if you ever do get insulted, you should really just turn around and say, ask them what did they say again, and then it makes them point out what they actually said.
Yeah.
And
So
reasons
this is an
why they
intriguing
said
answer.
it. Because if it's like in a crowded room and they say something and then you make them repeat it again, it makes everyone reflect on what they actually
'Cause
said. and the
these-
reason why.
Yeah, these are
Yeah.
all really.
Either in some cases it makes them look like more of an idiot rather than them insulting you, because
Yep.
it's like you find out where it's like deep seated down where it's actually coming from for you, like. But also the fact of if depending on what type of insult they're giving you, because if they're insulting you on something that is a legitimate thing that
So this
you
is
may
definitely
be the
a
cause
Wookiee
of it,
question.
So, I don't know. I like to
I
analyze.
feel like that's why I like that one. That one I felt like was like
Not
almost like a
explore
Wookiee
it.
question because I know you got answers, like you deep dive into the answers, which that's why that one
Well,
felt.
I'm just you know,
That's why
somewhat
I'm very
of
50.
being
Like that's
tricked.
why I'm very 50-50 on that question because I went through like I looked at the list of questions of what you would ask an interviewer in a podcast, and I was like just
Well,
went through and picked out a
I
bunch of
just
stuff.
don't remember most insults.
Like this is
But
one
I know.
question that I
No, it's
sort of
hard,
got.
isn't it? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
they
like,
don't really
do
stick
you
with you.
really?
you wouldn't really be
It's
proud
also
of
a
it. But
question of, do you really want to remember the last insult that was said to you?
that's why I was
Like,
intrigued too by it being
do
a
you
question.
let insults and negativity such as that get to you if you
Yeah.
remember
Yeah, right.
every
Well,
single insult?
that's why I was intrigued by this as well being a question. It's like in its own is what's an insult you received that you're proud of? What like that's an
But that's
interesting
the thing,
question. Like, why would you
to be
be proud
proud
of
of
it?
an insult
Yeah,
let
like
it
it's an
makes
interesting.
you well, but being proud of an insult, essentially you acknowledge that insult in the first place. And depending
Exactly.
on the insult, like also maybe the context of like someone says it in a way of an insult, but it's actually a, compliment. If
Yeah.
that's what you mean. So if any case, like, but yeah, it's any insult.
So
In anything, if it was an insult, may have been said as an insult, but I would have taken it as a compliment.
this one is, and like I said, that's what was
Exactly.
interesting. So what else have I got? So that one I'm very 50-50 on as a question. This one was as always could be like if you could go back to and give your 18-year-old self one piece of advice, what would it be?
Oh, that's probably a few things. Do you have the time?
I know with you it's gonna be like a
Yeah.
3-hour story.
Oh, I wouldn't say a 3-hour story, of more like a points of like, okay, at this date, at this
See, that's
time.
that's almost. Oh, I feel like this almost looks like almost
But
like an insult you
if
could
you
be
had
proud
to give
of.
one,
Is you're a time hog. You're a time hog. I don't know. I'm making that up. But like,
yeah,
I know, like almost like that.
I've
Almost
also
feels
been drinking. Don't forget, so it does increase my
Right.
yeah, it does
inebriation.
increase. Yeah, my
Um,
complexity. But yeah,
but yeah,
if I
if
had
you
to
were
go
to
back time, it's very a complicated question because you said if it's just one
invest
thing,
in Google,
or oh yeah, it would be something like that. It'd be like invest in Bitcoin. I'd be
invest
like,
in
as soon as
Bitcoin.
you hear something about Bitcoin, like 2009, find
Yep.
Bitcoin, spend like next couple of wages in it because one Bitcoin is like last time I checked $90,000,
Yeah.
and Bitcoin back then was like $20.
Yeah.
I would have been like, buy, fucking 100 Bitcoin, and you'd be
Yeah.
sweet. Be like, just
Right.
keep it. Just don't, yeah, all right? It'd be Bitcoin. That means you wouldn't be sweet. But in saying that, if you change any form of like, this goes into the fact of like, hey, look, I'm time traveling. Whatever I tell you now may change the future, so therefore I may not exist. So therefore it's a null effect. And in that case, all I'm really doing is traveling back in time to an alternate. As soon as I travel back to that point, basically I'm creating a split point where like it's another dimension. So essentially, I'm just creating a branch off effect.
Right.
Uh, so either way, it
Invest
doesn't
in
matter
Bitcoin.
what I say or do. I'm not really affecting the future. I'm really creating another branch off effect of a different future.
Yep.
So it doesn't really matter that I change anything in this future,
This
unless depending on how time goes.
that's it.
Yeah.
This is a fun one. Jim will get the reference here. If you could have coffee with anyone, who would you choose?
Ah, coffee with anyone.
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 God dang it.
Real, fictional, like
Yep. Anyone.
Oh, fictional?
it could be anything. Anyone.
Anything?
Anyone.
Oh, I'd with Napoleon Bonaparte, and not because the movie recently came out. I'm not jumping on the bandwagon of like, oh, that Napoleon movie. Oh my god, I'd love to meet Napoleon. No, I've always had a fascination with Napoleon because I always thought it was cool because he was just like an interesting person for his time. He achieved so much for his
For his
since his
stature.
youth. For his stature, like led Europe and all that. Oh, the idea of saying he was short was always a, it what he wasn't really. He was Like,
it was to make him seem like he was little, basically, like in the
yeah.
don't
He
be
wasn't.
threatened
He
by
was
him.
having
Basically, it was to
he
don't
was
feel
he
threatened
had
by him, don't feel
he
scared of him,
wasn't
kind of thing. It was like
short. People
no,
say that he was short, but he
it was the
fucking
whole
wasn't. He was
like the
normal.
yeah, it was the
Yeah.
mind game of don't feel threatened by him, make him think he's little. You know, you're bigger than him. You know, that kind of thing. Like make he's a pushover, basically. You know, that's what they were trying to
Yeah.
get at.
Right.
Or someone like an author or musician. It's really hard to answer that question because it's like if I had a dinner party, I would choose multiple people I'd have to have a chat with. But even then, it would be hard because having multiple chats with people, you want to have that coffee and have the sit down. So it's but then you
Yep.
want to choose multiple people if that's kind of like you'd want to sit down over time. But even then, if I had that choice, I'd just make it to a podcast. And just have like coffee and sit with someone and have it set up a camera and just have a chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Napoleon would be nice. But even then, they might not be a relevant question because, like anything, that can change. I'd love to have a sit down with Eric Idle and talk about, you know, like old Monty Python stuff.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's what I was intrigued by. I was definitely intrigued by that one. I did a little spin on it myself, but yeah. Another one was if you could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
You mean like that I've already done, or could be, or hypothetically?
Ooh.
Because everyone would love to
Yeah.
be remembered for saving the world. That'd be like a go-to thing. It'd be like, hey, look, I saved the world, right? It'd be awesome to do that.
Hmm.
Yeah, but we found
Hypothetically,
out that doesn't
but-
mean shit. Like really, like fuck.
I just want
No
to be
one will
remembered as the.
remember it.
I want to be remembered
Yeah,
as the
yeah,
pickle
yeah.
guy.
the pickle guy. But oh, you mean like something that I've already done?
I don't know. Just it could be anything you've done or something you might want to do.
Might want to do. I don't know. That's kind of hard because it's like I don't know. Like known as the guy who fucking
Tracksuit man.
yeah. I don't know.
Like-
Shoot, man.
I don't know. Having
Don't know.
superpowers. Who knows?
No, that's what I'm
Living
saying. It's a nice
living
little.
for 1,000 years.
Yeah.
I'd love to be known for that. Live for 1,000 years. Who knows?
Yeah, but
It's-
you get fucking bored. Like, god dang,
oh well, you know,
1,000 years.
or just be immortal. I don't know. Just not
Yeah.
die. Be invulnerable. Flight. Invisibility.
Known for the
super
men of
strength.
flight.
Yeah,
I know you're going
all
into
that kind of
superpower now. Which superpower would you like to have?
Become Goku.
Okay, new question. Add in there. What superpower? If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
Ah, Super Saiyan. That's easy because you live for a very long time and get to fly and all these abilities.
That's
I mean, that's
an-
not true. Not all Saiyans can fly. Don't forget. Like, they had to learn how to fly.
that's now a question. If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
No, being rich.
Being rich is a superpower. Oh, it's a superpower. They call
It's a
it
superpower.
That is
So
a
Elon
superpower.
Musk has a
Batman
superpower?
gets- yeah, Batman gets away with it all the time.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
This was another question that was
Or
on there, which
super
was
smart. Because if you're
uh,
super smart, you can figure out all the other stuff.
Like Tony Stark. Like,
so.
No, I meant like super smart, like level 5 type of intellect.
Albert
Sorry,
Einstein.
This one
smart,
was-
Yeah,
like-
this was-
level
this was-
5 intellect is based in the DC universe. Lex Luthor has level 5, which enables him to figure out, like the secrets of the universe. That was in.
Then again, like real life would say that just because you're smart, it can be a bad thing.
Oh yeah. It's because you're on the next level of plane of understanding, and everyone else
Like,
is below you
Einstein,
because-
he was
everyone
smart, but
is
he's
also-
also a little bit.
Oh yeah. You become It's that movie with Russell Crowe in it, but where he's like really smart with numbers.
hmm.
He becomes insane.
Oh, I know what it is, but
Yeah,
I don't know the name of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, you know which
Oh,
one.
wow,
He
that's a
was
good movie, though.
imagining, like that he was working the CIA, but he wasn't. He was just imagining.
I was about to say
Okay,
Rain,
yeah.
Rain Man. That's kind of the name thing.
Oh yeah.
That
I'd
dude
be
was
great
fucking
at-
smart, but
I'm great at the casinos.
yeah.
I don't know if this is I don't think this is an extremely relevant
Right,
question.
yeah.
I mean, it would kind of be. I mean, I feel like this is what it would be if my parent but the question was, how would your parents describe what you do?
Fuck. Yeah.
It's like interpretation of like, but it's like
That's an interesting one, isn't it?
poorly describing.
Paul,
Yeah.
just
That's what it feels like.
describing
It's
it.
like,
I
how would your
work
parents
with
describe what you do? Yeah,
computers. I
Work
work
with
on a
computers.
computer.
yeah. Works with
Yeah,
computers
I
all day.
work on a.
Sits
yeah,
down,
yeah,
works
that's
computers.
The best way. Yeah. Or
Do you
yeah,
reckon
I
that
would.
feels like a good question? I feel like that kind of feels like a good question.
Yeah, that's all right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Something a
because
bit
it's
funny.
basically well, I think of the dumbing down of it. My parents would explain it's like he works on computers
Yep.
or works with computers. That's probably the best way.
Another one. This is. I feel like this kind of feels like us. Is almost as like, what is an embarrassing story your family tells about you? But like you gotta like in a small. Don't have to like go like you wouldn't be after your in depth question, but it's 50-50. Like it's a.
My
It,
Yeah.
parents didn't really say much about embarrassing stories. It's more of like
is
my
there a?
friends know
Yeah, it's like, or is it be with the question be like, what's the story that your parents tell that you're not fond of?
fond of. Yeah. There's that one. Oh, no, I
The one that I
can't
always
really.
like, because there's always like that. I feel like that's why I'm very confused on the question because I feel like there is always that. There's always that thing where like your parents always bring up that one time. It's like, oh, remember that one time, like such and such did that, and they never let it down. Almost, your parents always let that one moment they never let down. Like
Oh
they
yeah.
always, your parents always have that
Yeah.
one moment. It's like, oh, remember that time you did this, and it was like, oh, it's like, oh my god, like, hmm,
I'm type of a person that kind of cherishes any event because it's
yeah,
for one
Mm.
you don't have your parents like you may lose your parents any moment kind of thing, so you need to cherish
Oh
whatever
yeah.
good and
yeah,
bad that you have with them. So it's whether memories you have they may seem embarrassing at the time, but overall it's going to be a fond memory because it's something that you can both share with each other.
that should be a
So I
question. What?
really say like that's well, no. Remember,
Yeah.
you're basing these questions on my answers, but anyone else can come up with a different answer. It's just my answers are more of like deep dive philosophical
Another,
answers.
well,
That
I'm just
kind of
working through it. Like
so,
another question would be
so
what
while
Right.
other people would probably just come up with like, yeah, and there was this one time when my mum caught me ranking
That's
up
what
the
I mean. Like
shower.
that's what I feel like that would. That's what I'm saying. Like this question would feel like it kind of works because it's like it's an embarrassing story that they keep bringing up because like there's a one time, yeah, like I friggin' whatever story, like I squirt soap in my eye and my mum caught me, or whatever story, and then people keep your parents bring up that one story. It's like, oh, remember that time Jimmy squirted soap in his eye.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, I remember one story my mum says for my younger brother because he used to always
hmm,
have really long showers, and I mean
yep,
like really long showers. And you know that he wasn't just washing, he was washing one part in particular most of those times. That's for my brother, but for me, I don't really have any that I can think of at the moment. Like I you know,
that feels, yeah. So
probably
I'm just saying. So yeah. So I think these kind of fit. So basically, going on with the questions I feel like kind of fit with us so far for like the podcast we have is,
yeah.
just what childhood video game you grew up with, has the video game influenced or an impact or influenced or inspired an aspect of your life. Another one would be what video game are you playing right now? What are 3 movies you would recommend to anyone right now? If you could go back to
Yeah.
your 18-year-old self, if you could have a coffee with anyone, if you could remember one, if you could be remembered for one thing,
That coffee one. No, fucking.
Yeah.
if you could have a superpower, what would it be? How would your parents describe what you do? What is an embarrassing story? And then another would be like asking the guest for a question for the next person. Like a lot of people do
Okay.
that. I feel like they seem like
Yeah.
a nice
So,
solid amount of
going
questions.
back to what game I'm playing now, at the moment, I'm not really playing that much. I've been playing a little bit of Tarkov,
Yep.
but that's only because the new season started. I just wanted to catch up on a little. I
Yep.
was trying out the new arena mode.
Yes. How
Uh,
was that anyway?
yeah, it's all right. It's a bit of hit and miss. Like unless you started from the start, because certain loadouts you can achieve, but you have to keep playing it to get those better
Yep.
loadouts. And for someone who played it for a little, like only for a little bit, compared to someone who's just hardcore went at it, of course they'll have better gear, which kind of is shit. Like with COD, you can easily just get away with the smaller kits. So I think they're probably going to tweak it for later on. They were hoping to be bigger than what it was. So I reckon they'll go back and try and fix it. Um, but that's just Tarkov as always. I reckon they'll come up with a 1.0 in the next year or so.
Yep.
At the rate that they're going, but we'll see. Uh,
Yeah.
but well, and the question for the next person, I
Yeah.
have
If you
no
could.
fucking idea. I don't know. What's their favorite drink to drink? Just to unwind, maybe.
Questions are hard,
What's
man.
their
Like, they
favorite
really are.
unwinding or end of day drink?
Yeah, yeah. What alcoholic drink are they enjoying at the moment? If they, yeah.
What's the other
Alcoholic
word?
beats,
Something like
What's
that. I
that?
don't know.
What's that word? What's that word? Not
To
treat. It's not
unwind.
like treating. It's like a go to. What is it? What's that
What
word? I'm
what
thinking-
what or rephrase it as what thing do you like to treat yourself with to
Yeah.
unwind at the end of the day? Whether it's an alcoholic drink or like a
Yeah.
chocolate
What
chocolate or an ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
what is your go to?
Go-to thing to unwind at the end of the day. Whether it may be an activity or a substance. I
Yeah.
don't care whether they say chocolate bar or a
I
hit of
almost said go-to
heroin.
hobby. I'm like, bro.
Because
Oh,
I
yeah,
mean,
it could be that. I don't know. Like I said, it could be
Like,
anything from alcoholic drink to a chocolate bar or a hit of
Mm.
heroin. I don't give a shit. That could be a
right?
question. I don't care if they like. Oh, I'll enjoy like a nice little Cadbury chocolate bar, have a swig of
yeah,
tequila,
exactly.
and then just take a hit of my favorite fucking I don't know, Colombian black tar heroin. It's just you know.
I think what the phrase is.
Like
There's
I
a
said,
phrase for it.
I take a Snickers bar every now and again just because it's fucking. You feel great
Oh yeah,
afterwards. Like,
Yeah.
dang.
Yeah, I'd love some black tar heroin, but that shit's hard to get. But you know,
No, because I like that idea of like having like because of course we know we got the other like a lot of people do that. A lot of people get a guest and then they get a question either which we
yeah,
have like the Bogignac they have a mystery question so no one really knows. Like
yeah,
I know
yeah.
they've done it a few times. I'm not like
And they
feel like I'm
do
gonna steal
the
them, but
what's
like I
the
wanna
question
yeah
for the next person?
yeah.
Yeah.
But like this one here, at least if the person's listening, the next guest we have, they know what the question is, so they can prepare themselves. If they don't,
Right.
then it's a surprise.
Yeah.
You know what I
But
mean?
well, yeah,
Exactly.
the next guest that knows it's scheduled on, they'll know it anyway because if they listen to the previous
Yeah.
podcast. So
So
I
a
know
lot of these questions as well that I've got, like
it's
they'll be the same questions every time I'll ask. Whether it's in the same order, that's a different story. When we ask them, that's a different story. Like I might ask them, and then we'll go on and talk. Like like we start having a conversation. Like I ask a question, it triggers a conversation of banter, back and forwards. We talk about related things, and then the next question.
People get the gist. People
So
get the
that's
gist.
hmm.
They listen to the podcast, they know exactly what's going to happen. It's
Yeah.
like a little
So
bit of
Exactly.
laughter,
where
a
we
little bit
are,
of
we
banter,
are
same
slightly shifting it a little bit. That's why I want to try this. I want to shift it because with us, we know what we're talking about. We can just trigger. But when it's someone new as a new guest, it's maybe a one-time guest. It's a different story. So you're gonna try and trigger. You're gonna find ways. So like I was saying with Jim, like when we do these podcasts with these guests, it will be a little bit different structure compared to what we normally do because it will be more or less focused on them per se, and then it's asking these questions and going from
Yeah,
there. And then
But
that.
speaking from personal experience, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. It's just
No,
perpetual shit that just dribbles out of my mouth. It
that's
just
it.
comes naturally. I think it's just embedded
That's why we don't have to
information
worry
that's
about
in my
asking you
head,
questions. That's why I don't need to.
implanted there by aliens over when I sleep at night. That's why I
Oh
didn't sleep
no,
last night. So the aliens can't imprint those information in me. So I actually have stuff to talk about.
Ricky
So it's more
Chavez.
original when I could. And yeah, I've had quite a few drinks, and I have not touched. I barely touched that 1 liter. I've only
Yeah,
had like that much, and I think I need to do better.
yeah.
Like it always is.
But
Do better.
You better
And
and get black hair.
but that's the
Yeah.
thing.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
fucking blackened again. But no, like as anyway, like now you're friggin' sorted out a little bit more. Like you can jump on more often if you feel like it. Get on, join us and mix it up every now and then. And
Yeah,
fucking,
I mean,
yeah.
Cinnamon
I've
Jack
been out.
does go
I've been
down, so
out
it's
of
nice.
the loop is because I've been changing careers and
moving and career change. And
moving
all that
and avoiding federal agents and
yeah,
aliens.
there's federal Asians. So you gotta watch out for those federal Asians.
Yeah, it's the federal Asians. It's a different division. So it's special. It's those pesky agents. The federal.
Oh,
And
good.
yeah, I've been moving and changing
Hmm.
careers and learning new things and hiding and
Yeah.
being secure locations
It's nice.
and unsecure locations
That's all right,
and it's it is what it is and yeah and yeah let's I need to go
Well,
pee now.
Yeah, I think it'd be a good time to wrap up. Well, this is a nice long episode. It's a nice 2.5 hours. Jim, would you like to wrap up the episode as always? Have you got anything? Unless you got anything else extra you want to chuck in, squeeze it in now before someone has to squeeze it out.
Nothing that I can think of. I think.
Wicked.
I think.
Nothing. Well then, yeah.
Nope. But
And done.
And done.
that time again is oh fuck. I did think
Yep.
there. Fuck. 200, man.
Yep, that's why it's a long episode.
Congratulations
I thought it was
on
200.
the
but,
200th episode.
We didn't really. Yeah, 200 all up apparently. Yeah.
200 all
Yeah.
up. I
200.
don't know how many I've been around for.
You've done a
I
few of
think
them.
it's the whole 200. But
A fair
right
few.
now, wait, I was going to say how
A
many
dozen
I've
at
been-
least. Like, goddamn.
Let me rephrase that.
more
I don't
than
know
that.
how many I've been on. It's been a few. I've
Season 2, you've been in there. Season 3, you've been there.
season 3, season 1. I think no, I haven't been on season 1, was I? I
No.
wasn't.
No, that was
episodes
only
of
on our
season 1.
phones.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been that. So,
With me
but
and
yeah,
Jim, straight
congratulations
up,
on
me
the
and Jim.
200th episode. I'm
yeah.
having a drink in your honor.
Thank you.
I'm just saying that because it gives me an excuse to drink and make it not seem like I'm an alcoholic
Yep.
for drinking for no reason. But congratulations, guys.
Thank you.
You're only an alcoholic if you have a problem.
Look forward to 200 more and
Right,
many
yeah.
more after that.
That'll be.
Oh, it's
And then-
crazy. Like that 200 has already gone by. Like it's season
We're almost
5.
at a quarter way to 1,000, bro. Like, how the fuck?
Oh, yeah.
I'm thinking that far out. We can hit 1,000 pretty
But
fucking
think of it
quick.
this way, like
a few years.
some podcasts don't even like make it to 200, whilst
Oh.
other podcasts don't even like do a breakout till like their 1,000th episode
Yeah.
or over 1,000.
Like
So
we just
think
like
of it
that.
this way-
We just do it. Like we just love doing
Oh
whatever.
yeah.
Like it's just,
I love
it's
doing it.
traditional podcast, but like it's like that. It varies. It could be an hour episode. It could be an hour and a half episode. 2 hours, 2.5, 3, like a 4-hour
I'm just
episode.
saying,
Like
you know how people generally like,
our
yeah,
shit's
for
just
example, using Joe Rogan. Originally, they just did it, bunch of friends just fucking getting drunk, getting high, whatever, just talking shit. Not until he's done what? How many podcast episodes there? He's up
He's
to
done
like 8,000 now or some shit like that.
yeah.
Or
something
whatever.
like that.
Something like that. But like, he didn't give a shit. He's still the same from then to now.
Yeah.
And
That's it.
Same. All they just
And
did
that'll be
was
us,
for
like-
fun. And
Yeah.
really just got people on that thought they're interesting and buy them
That's it.
on. So and that's pretty much it. Don't
We just shoot the
don't
shit.
expect to be big from the very first episode, and don't expect
fuck
to
no.
stay big from your like 900th episode or 2000th. It's just
I just
like,
feel like people
you're
are missing
supposed
out.
to just keep going
People
at
are
it,
just missing
and-
out. They're not enjoying the great entertainment we're giving. It's I feel bad for them basically.
Yeah,
I feel
but-
bad that they're missing out on all this premium content. Free premium content.
Free.
It's premium.
Free premium.
It's freemium.
Premium.
Wait,
It's
I'm not getting
free
paid.
content.
I'm not getting paid for this.
It's freemium.
Wait, I'm not being paid as a guest.
The
The audacity! What do you
audacity.
expect for me to pay for all this alcohol I've just consumed?
Premium. But anyway, we'll leave Jim to wrap it up. You can go to it. We can just hang out
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Or banter, whatever, still afterwards. But anyway, Jim,
The after hours.
fucking
Yes.
get on down
200th done and dusted. Episode 7. Thank you, beers and bidettes, for I would say putting up with us on this episode. If
Yep,
you've watched, you listened, we
stick
appreciate
around
you.
for the
You're fucking one of
OnlyFans
yous.
edition after this.
Yeah, that's what the tube's there for.
Yeah.
As always, thank you, Wookie, for joining us.
Thank you.
And we have been Dale and Jim and Wookie. We'll catch you next week. Bye bye. Ka-chink.
Yeah, I need to go pee. I'll be back.